Hello, everyone, and welcome to VTS Week 2 here tonight on the Victoris stream. I am Camcom, joining you tonight as a substitute producer and host, joined by your regular lovely Moose and TDS. Tonight, we have a rematch of the finals best of 5 from our last split. Already here in Week 2, Group B, you got G7M Mirage versus Akuma Blades. Moose, TDS, how are you doing tonight?
Oh man, Camcom, I'm so glad to have you here. I'm sorry, Duck Camcom, to say the least. I have to make sure that I represent the team, the Ducks, the Mighty Ducks. But no, really excited to have you here, Camcom. It's been it's been like a month or so since the last time I had you as a host or a producer, so good to see you back here, and thank you for doing double duty tonight, both host and production. It's a lot of work, so thank you very much for that.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm following the sentiment of Moose, so I won't add to anything that he said. I feel exactly the same way, so thank you for being here. Now, with that said, I think we can move a little bit forward, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
I think that's accurate.
We are playing on a new patch here this week as well, 12.9. This is the patch right before the apparent new preseason patch coming in at 12.10. So we got a couple buffs, or I was going to say couple nerfs, a lot of buffs, and then you got the two reworks. I'm making up numbers here. You got the massive Talia and Olaf reworks. Now we've got some varying opinions here on the desk about how impactful these reworks are, Moose. How's Talia looking in the current meta?
You know, none of the other adjustments, buffs, nerfs, changes, skins, none of it matters. The only thing that matters in 12.9 is the updated Talia rework, pseudo rework, whatever you want to call it. I'm so happy that Talia's gotten a little bit of love, and I've played it now a couple of times since the patch came out. I'm really enjoying the changes that come to it. It feels like you have a lot more impact. It feels a lot more in line with the kit that was created, because you get that splash damage back on your Q. You get that big boulder when you use your words ground as well, which is really fun and can set up for some really great combos and gives a little bit more oomph to those early game ganks.
What about her flex potential? I've been hearing differing opinions on her flex potential. Is she a jungler? Is she a support? Is she a mid laner? Where are you predicting she's gonna land?
I've played her in mid and I've played her in jungle. I actually have not played her in support, but looking at that actually does kind of make sense. You can do it now because you get the slow, you get the splash damage, and you could potentially go for a massive double man knock up and stun in the lane if you're able to land the seismic shove. So definitely could work there, but I think the jury is still out on whether or not she's going to be played in the mid or support role, but I think it was definitely a line to try to make her a little bit more flexible.
Makes sense to me. TDS, you had some thoughts on the Olaf rework, I believe. Where's Olaf landing now?
Yeah, to me, I'm on the other. I'm probably not that far away from the Talia being important, but to me, Olaf is the much more important one. I value that as an actual meta-defining change, because there's one thing that Olaf has that not a lot of champions have, and that it's actually super valuable to have, is invulnerability. Like being able to stay away from CC, especially with how much CC there's currently in the game and how much damage can come after being CC'd. Being invulnerable for a bit of time can actually be so valuable. And so getting that extra value to your invulnerability, apart from a shield, as well as just getting resets consistently with the E, can be so huge. And from what I've seen and from what I think it's pretty prevalent in the idea of the game with the junglers and the like, junglers like to be aggressive. They like to be able to play towards your face and towards what they can exploit against enemy junglers. So Olaf is one of the junglers that a lot of people value a lot, and that they will prioritize most of the times if it's possible. So I feel like with this change, Olaf becomes such a prolific jungler, and if you're a jungler that likes to be aggressive and the like, can just be your mainstay pick and then define the meta around it, because Olaf just becomes so valuable right now. And that can bring back compositions with a lot of enchanters, because apart from having Olaf being good, you can have an enchanter to buff him up, and it just becomes even better. So I'm really excited to see how much does this change impact the meta, because I feel like it can impact it quite a lot.
Talia and Olaf. Definitely, I think I'm not gonna pick one or the other as my this is the biggest patch or change of the patch. I think both of them, the adjustments are pretty huge. I was noticing as well the Hullbreaker and the Scion nerfs. I think those are particularly targeted towards the boss, of course. So it's funny that they're literally nerfing this champion because of one person. He started the meta basically single-handedly, so I give full credit to him if I'm gonna pick a quote-unquote my favorite most impactful change of this patch, which I don't like usually doing, but I would actually put the combination of the Scion and the Hullbreaker changes as my favorite thing here. But yes, definitely Talia and Olaf. I've seen a couple Talias since the new patch. I haven't seen actually any Olafs. The Talia
Not just yet.
was of course on my team and went 0-3 in lane, so I have a.
It's fine. We go through those first, and then we come to the actual Brutalias.
So
It just takes
based
time.
on my solo queue experience, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Olaf rework as being my favorite one. But little bit of bias now. Looking towards our matchup for this week, of course, it was both of these teams coming off of a 2-0 last week, so no 2-1s, 0-2s, 1-2s, anything like that. We are both coming off of what is going to be the stopping of the very first, I guess, undefeated run. It's an undefeated run in a week too, so someone's
Yeah.
not going to have it undefeated after this week.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
a strong start for both teams. Just to quickly say, I think that, like you're pointing out, it's not an undefeated start, but it's a start that can benefit both teams quite a lot, because now you will be undefeated with TAB, that is on top right now of this group, and then also you will have the head-to-head advantage against the team
Yes.
that wins this match, which is important to keep in mind.
Moose?
Definitely. I think, I think the more important part about that is being able to set the tone for the remainder of the split. In basketball, I think, it's important to note that a lot of times the first or second seed in a division don't always, or in a conference, don't necessarily have the best advantage to make it to the NBA Finals. Sometimes the teams that are at fourth or fifth seed who kind of, experiment a little bit more, who look to try to find adjustments in their play during the regular season, definitely play a little bit better. So even though you might fall in the second week, if you're still able to get a couple more wins, if you're still able to at least make playoffs and find those experimental games where you can maybe, go for something that's not as common and see how it works against a particular team or a particular play style, it might give you an edge to be able to go in for that extra teamwork moving into the playoffs. So even though one of these teams might or is going to fall this week, definitely don't count them out, because this season and this tournament is still very young.
Yeah, absolutely. And that does make it slightly more interesting as well, because these teams did quite literally verse each other in their finals best of 5. I don't know the exact date, but it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. It is very recent. It is less than a month ago that these teams are now coming back against each other in a not best of 5. We're back to the best of 3s. I don't know about you guys, but my brain is still in best of 5 mode from casting so many of them in like the span of 2 weeks. I'm still in best of 5 mode. Maybe the players are as well. The finals was a 3-0 in the favor of Akuma Blaine, so block of 3 finals, you never really know what happens. It's block of 3, best of 3, so maybe they never actually were in the best of 5 mindset. So 3-0 for Akuma Blades from the finals last split. This split, we are coming in with slightly different rosters. I would say mostly the same roster. You have a different AD carry and top lane for Myridge, and then you have a different only top laner coming in for Akuma. I want to go to predictions for tonight. You have to include series score as well. I'm going to go... Let's go right to left on the desk. So TDS.
Okay, I'm starting this time. So I feel like coming from the previous grand finals where the 3-0 happened, and much more importantly, the fact that the 3-0 happened because it was the surprise of the 3-0, not the fact that AKM win, but the 3-0 in itself is a surprising bit. So I feel like there's a lot of just vengeance that Mirage wants to pull off in this particular series. Obviously, it's not comparable to the grand finals, but it's at least a start for them as a revenge. So I think today it will be a 2-0. And I think I'll take
Okay.
Mirage today. 2-0 Mirage. I feel like it's probably the scoring that I would give.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, TDS. I
Oh,
think it's
nice.
gonna be. I think it's. I always love seeing the games go the distance. So I want to see a game 3, but I think the overall cohesion of Akuma Blades is going to be the deciding factor here, and I think that they're gonna take it 2-1.
You think
Okay.
Akuma 2-1. TDS coming out of nowhere predicting the 0-3 team from finals as of the 2-0
Yeah.
for tonight. That would be very, very interesting to see if that is what goes on. I think I'm going to have to agree with Moose here. I'm going to say 2-1 for Akuma Blades as well. We are heading into the, I don't want to say champion select, but the champion loading screen into champ select here soon. Any final thoughts, closing words coming out of, I guess, final/week 1 into week 2 match again on the rematch?
If I had to say anything, I would say like this week's result may end up being completely worthless just because of how different playoffs may end up turning out to be. But I wouldn't discount this being the start for anyone or any of these two teams to for their championship road for this match to be the defining factor in them taking it. So this is a match to keep your eyes on, but obviously don't give it much more credit than maybe it deserves. Just
Okay.
keeping that.
And for me, Camcom, really quick, if you guys have not joined the Discord, definitely go ahead and check
Ooh.
that out. Victoris and all of the series that are available are definitely phenomenal. There, you can check out my week 1 highlight video that I made, the top 10 plays from week 1 in the
I'm in there.
BTS. Yep, you are in there as well.
Oh my gosh.
Camcom is not.
Aw.
Camcom's not in this top 10 because you weren't
Yep.
here last week, but you were there in
I was in
spirit,
the
and
Twitch chat. I was talking to you the whole time. I just...
You sure were. You sure were, and I greatly appreciate that. But also I'm keeping my tally of the Dragon Rifts that we cast here.
Oh,
on
yeah!
BTS. We got 2 Mountain Souls. We've got 1 Infernal Soul already. So with that information in line, with that information there, Camcom, prediction 20% chance of you're
Okay.
correct for the Rift in Game 1.
Rift in game 1. I'm sorry, TDS. I know you just really love Cloud Dragons and Cloud Souls so much. I'm gonna go with Cloud Soul as my prediction for
Okay.
Rift game 1, I guess. TDS, give me a not Cloud Soul prediction.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said Cloudsoul anyway. I go for Hextech. I think it's Hextech Drake this time around,
Okay.
at least.
MSI today had 3 Ocean Souls, so it's an Ocean Day. Ocean Day.
Okay. That's a lot, yeah. I can see that.
3 oceans. That's like a red side, blue side almost win rate. You know how like some of those days it's 100% red side win rate, and you're like, how did this even happen? That shouldn't even like statistically be allowed to happen, right? Like supposedly they're supposed to mix up the sides. I don't know, but anyways, champion
Yeah.
select is right around the corner. I will be hopping off the host desk for the first 2 games, just here and the background producing, clicking the buttons. But you will once again, of course, be joined by the lovely Moose and TDS here in just a couple minutes on the other side of this short break. Don't go anywhere. We've got the rematch of finals from last split in just a couple of minutes.
2 of the Victoris Triumph series. Moose and TDS here live for the rematch of the winner 2022 split of
Yep.
Blades versus Gang 7 Mirage. TDS, I mean, gonna be a really, really fun series.
Yep, I expect nothing less than a lot of kills and a lot of action happening. I expect them to be fight a lot. So I hope that everyone will be able to watch a really exciting match. With that, we do have the pick and bans already happening with Poppy, Gangplank, Action, and Lucian happening. So a lot of focus towards the marksman potential and marksman potential in the soul lanes for the side of Gang 7 Mirage.
Exactly. You know, at this point, Akshan and Lucian can go into the mid lane or into the ADC role, and that gives a lot of flexibility for whatever team is able to make that happen. Akuma Blades, though, going a little bit more direct, kind of focusing in on the top side of the Rift with a Vigar, a Gangplank, and a Poppy, really trying to take away some of that mid to late game scaling from the Gangplank and the Vigar.
Yeah, and a lot of focus towards blind pick potential, because these are three champions that you can pick blindly and can find a lot of effect quite heavily. So I like the attention that they give, but also they take away some of the stronger picks. So now we need to see what they opt into in first pick. I can see them going for an AD carry or a jungler here. Particularly Bolivar could be an option because of his potential early on. As well, we can see maybe something like a Xinjiao, which is still a viable champion. Or we may see them going for a power pick that they think, like the Taliyah. I was actually going to bring this up because Taliyah right now is a power pick. So you can actually opt into this, and it's a flex like we were previously talking about.
Yeah, massively strong in the jungle, can go into the mid lane as well, and, you know, if they want to play a little bit more ambitious, can go into the support role because you now have so much setup with that seismic shove, the area increase of being able to actually land the seismic shove into the combo to be able to get the stun is really, really impactful. So Akuma Blades locking that in first time on the Rift that we're going to be able to see that here as Gang 7, they're, I mean, I guess playing without a first pick. I don't know what that part of is. Yeah, that's what it has to be.
Yeah, we need to see what they opted into, so we will wait a little bit. But I think that answering here, potentially we may see something towards the jungle or the support position, because it's one of the picks that may find a lot of value. We may see a Karma, for example, because we have seen the flex potential that it has and the power that it does possess in a couple of lanes here and there. But I'm expecting to see they didn't pick here. It is now strange. Neither picks in the first two picks actually.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get confirmation as to like what's going on with that, because you know that is, I mean, one pick makes sense, two picks a little weird. It's Senna, Karma that are locked in. So Senna, Karma, both of these picks, the Karma especially can play a little bit more flexible as well. The Senna most likely heading to the bottom lane, going to be facing off against Keyboarder's Misfortune, and potentially that really, really scary lethality build.
Yeah, it's a really strong build against squishy champions like the Senna and the Karma, can be quite effective. I do want to mention though that we talked about how powerful the Karma can be with the flex potential, but as well the Senna, even though it is going towards the bot lane, the dynamic changes if you opt into it as an AD carry or as a support. So I'm really excited to see what does G7 end up deciding to go for in that pick. Now, the Tristana pick here, paired up with the Misfortune pick previously, this can be either a pick in the mid lane for the Tristana, because Tristana mid lane can still be a viable option, or we see a return to the old. The Misfortune support with the Tristana AD carry can also be something that we haven't seen in quite a while, but it can still exist.
So, I mean, looking at these first three picks, the Taliyah, the Misfortune, and the Tristana, the thing that points out to me really most of all here is not a lot of health and not a lot of frontline right now for Akuma Blades that they're going to have to take care of. A lot of opportunity to get bursted down. And Steel City Warrior, a really, really strong mid laner for Gang 7, is going to have the opportunity to play that Vex. The Shadow Surge can be very impactful if you're able to find the flank and get to that backline.
Yeah, and particularly having that fear potential to stop some of the movement from the Tristana or Taliyah can be quite impactful, as well as having just immediate access towards that squishy backline can be so good for Steel City Warrior. And it does mean that now, if the Tristana is going towards the mid lane, that can be a really skillful matchup in the mid lane. Now, looking at the bans that are coming into the second phase, we have the Shyvana and now Potentially the Ornn, it's a hover, we don't compare. Now it is the Ornn. So focusing towards the jungle and the top lane of flex potential by those two champions. But it makes sense. We really don't know where some of these champions may go into. But a lot of this seems to be much more focused towards bot side and mid lane particularly. So it's really hard to not call it out so far and go towards that top side for the bans.
Just adding to the stat line for Ornn, the most banned champion in
Makes
week
sense.
1, 45% ban rate. Shyvana was up there as well, I believe. Let me go ahead and just clarify that really quick. No, Shyvana was not there. I don't know where I saw Shyvana from, but regardless, she is banned out, not going to be available in the jungle. I believe that she did get a little bit of a change as well in 12.9, so wanting to potentially not have that available, but regardless, looking to be able to take away some of these high-profile jungle picks, the Udyr, the Shyvana, and in the top lane, the Malphite and the Ornn, some of those tanky boys are not going to be available for All Praise Allah.
Yeah, and I like the focus towards just those tanky options out there in the top lane because we have so much damage already down in the mid lane and in the bot lane with the Senna potentially. Now adding to that a really damage heavy champion in the jungle in the form of Viego. So the tanky options in the top lane were the safer options as well. The only thing that I'm kind of scared here is the fact that because it would be ideal to go for a tank option, if you leave it as a counter pick, it may lose quite a bit of value. So maybe we see something else in the top lane from Gang7. Now, from Akuma Blades, though, we still need to wait and see what the jungle or support is, because Taliyah was still a potential flex, but with the Leona selected here, we're just missing essentially top lane, I feel like.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. The Viego getting locked in, the Shadow Isles synergy with the Vex and the Viego going to be at full force here. But on the side of Akuma Blades, you got that Leona, so you do get that front line. You still are somewhat weak in terms of being able to keep that back line safe, and so maybe looking for something that can go for some high peel or some high health, or maybe something that can go for the split push. Camille is going to be the pick to maybe allow for all of that to come through.
Yeah, and the Camille is quite good here because with the Hextech Ultimatum as well, you can lock someone down, and you have a lot of CC in the form of the Leona, as well as just the follow-up from the Taliyah, and then the Misfortune Ultimate, so you're kind of already playing around your potential team fight prowess in the form of the other champions, so I'm quite glad they opted into the Camille here, and it's a good blind pick as well. The Shen, we were talking about, the safe front line top lane that you could opt into with the Ornn and the Malphite ban. The Shen, it's not a bad option, has a kind of interesting matchup against the Camille, not necessarily a good matchup, but it's not a bad matchup either. You can win it if you play it correctly, and if you take Ignite, you threaten much more the Camille. But with this, you do have a good shield user in the form of the Vex to apply the Stand United, and if you can force a team fight like that, you still have good cleanup fighters in the form of the Senna and the Viego to play around in team fight. So I'm quite glad about the composition that Gang7 opted into here. It's pretty straightforward team fight and can answer towards what Akuma also has.
Exactly. They have a lot of CC, a lot of control in these team fights, as well as some help with the Stand United, as well as being able to potentially get some damage in when Best Turtle NA is able to get those resets. Once Reset City happens, Viego is going to have so many good options. I mean, any one of these picks can be very impactful in those team fights, so you have to make sure that these carries do not get taken out first, especially, you look at this Tristana for Fluke. If he gets taken out early on, that's going to be a really nice rocket jump into a lot of damage that Turtle NA is going to be able to get into the execute with the Heartbreaker. And that's what I think worries me for Akuma Blades here is, are they going to be able to get away from all the CC and all the follow-up damage that they're going to have in these team fights?
Yeah, it's kind of the thought here that you have to opt into is how much damage can they take before they need to either go away from a fight or just commit 100% for it. Like, from the side of Akuma, I feel like they are much more straightforward. They have less chances to disengage from a team fight because their engage is pretty straightforward. It's Leona into Camille into then follow-up damage. But if on the side of Gang7, even though you have quite a bit of a straightforward engage in the form of the Vex and the Shen, you have quite a good disengage potential with the Karma. So it's quite easy for them to opt into fights that they want and disengage from fights that they don't. Meanwhile, Akuma has to commit, and I feel like that's going to be an important factor to notice in the game, because if Akuma forces fights and at the end they cannot clean them up quick enough, then Gang 7 will be able to re-engage fights and be able to do what they really want to do.
Well, guys, the start of this really, really important rematch is now underway. Akuma Blades is looking to keep their flawless streak, or at least their win streak, against the Mirage squad alive with a victory here in this series against them. Will they be able to get the 1-game advantage? We're going to have to find out here as we take the spectator delay. As we do, TDS, we already got the predictions. We already know what you and I think are going to be the Dragon Souls and the Rifts for Game 1. But chat, let us know what you guys think of the drafts and what Dragon Soul, what your prediction is for Game 1 in this pivotal series. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back for Game number 1 before you know it. Welcome back, everybody, to game number 1 of our Week 2 Victoris Triumph Series marquee matchup. G7 Mirage over on the red team, over against Akuma Blades, going to be over on the blue side. A couple of things to note is that Senna is going to be going for that fleet footwork and is playing the support. And Optic Waffle is going to be going in for that ADC role. What are your thoughts on fleet footwork there, TDS?
So I feel like fleet footwork became a much more common. Wait, just a sec. Oh, okay. Fear. That's it.
We're good. We're fine.
Yeah, it was just fear. So fleet footwork became a rune that you can essentially take almost any time with the Senna, just because of the changes that she received on her Q, where now you can essentially just do what she could do previously with the I forgot the name of the thing, but the Frosty rune.
Glacial Augment?
Yeah, the previous Glacial Augment, you can do that now with your Q, so you can take a much more aggressive route in terms of runes, and Fleet Forward became one of the better options with the Grasp of the Undying. So that's why we see this option now. I like it much more because it does allow you to deal a little bit of damage, get a charge attack, so it can buff up your potential with the items that does have charging potential, like the rune, like the rapid fire cannon, or there's another one, but yeah, the rapid fire cannon. So it's actually valuable in some senses, and it does give you healing as well without using your Q.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it works out for that, but we're already getting started with the trades in the bottom lane. Ratchet able to find the Zenith Blade, and actually ends up resulting in a better trade for the Gang 7 bottom lane there. Able to pick up a nice little chunk of damage onto the Leona. Same type of trading happening for Akuma Fluke. Fluke has been able to get out and force out Steel City Warrior, who, for the time being, will probably have a rough time in the mid lane.
Yeah, and in level 2, where the Tristana hits the level 2 power spike, it's going to be so good because we see how she engages. She can force out a flash out if the Ignite comes down as well, and it could have been a much better situation for X-Fluke. But also, with the Steel City Warrior hitting level 2, now it's going to be a little bit better for him as well to try and stop the Tristana, because now you will have your shield. Whenever she jumps, if you have the fear, you can just deny the damage that she throws onto you, and it can become a much more skill-dependent matchup where you either hold your bomb, or Steel City Warrior will wait until you jump in to taunt you, and that way it becomes a minigame between the two.
Exactly, yeah. Steel City Warrior now with that personal space could potentially go for a massive outplay if they are able to land it correctly. It does take some pretty nice timing from Steel City Warrior to make it happen, but the expectation is that it could potentially happen here, and we definitely want to keep that in mind as we move into the earlier stages of the game. Looking at potentially our first gank as well. Best Turtle and A sensing some vision, able to kind of peer out into the top lane. Meanwhile, Hexmist is now into the bottom lane, going to move forward. Optic Waffle is going to get ignited, going to get hit by the Zenith Blade. Ratchet is trying to be able to get the stun and does, flashing away, but First Blood going to go over to Senna here. Not able to land the combo from Hexmist is going to result in disaster for Akuma Blades, as Optic Waffles going to fall, but only after 2 go down. Keyboarder is alive for a second, but it ends up being Senna picking up 2 kills in a 1-for-3.
So in that exchange, Senna gets 2 kills and Karma gets 1. That was such a bad situation for AKM. They forced the play, and it looked kind of positive. But wait.
All right, so we got the stun landing, and Sneb's going to get hit by the hook shot, going to get the stun, but going to be okay. Hexmist is here. I don't think that they can actually fight this, but they are going in. Hexmist is just going in. Not going to be the play that they wanted, but Ratchet is now on the way too late. Miscommunication there from the group of Blades. And now this could potentially be a disaster once again. Optic Waffles coming in, gonna land the slow. Hexmist is way in trouble, gonna get taunted, and Turtle and A will pick up a kill there. Gonna be another one against Ratchet. This is disaster for Akuma Blades to start off game 1.
Just to put it into context how bad this is for AKM, we're 4 minutes, 45 seconds, and we're already 3,000 gold lead. Like, just 100 gold lead, less than a 3,000 gold lead. That's how bad this has been already for AKM, and how good G7 has played it. Such nice movements all around the map, getting themselves away this map. I think it should be fine. Okay, yeah, well, praise Allah is fine. The problem is that the wave now is in a bad spot. But overall, that doesn't matter. You still have so much leads everywhere in the map. The Senna began farming alone, essentially, and you can just leave her down there and do whatever you want. Like, it's not that bad to allow for the karma to move around because this is a fasting Senna, so it's not like you need her to farm either. You're just collecting gold all around the map and putting yourself in a good spot if you're G7 Mirage already.
Yeah, level 3 Optic Waffles immediately goes in for the roam. Nice prediction. They're going to have like you stated, a massive gold lead that is just going to continue to grow larger and larger for this early game. Taking a look at the entirety of Akuma's build, comp-wise, I mean, they do take time to be able to ramp up. It's going to take a little bit for Keyboard to really be able to deal that damage. Fluke needs to get a couple of items to really start coming online, along with Hexmist and Sneb. So this early game is where they needed to make sure that they could stabilize and deny G7 the chance of being able to snowball. But it feels like the snowball has already just catapulted themselves into a really good game state.
Well, they can still kind of find a way. Oh, nice turnaround.
Yeah, very nice play there. Keyboard are going to pick up that kill thanks to the seismic shove from Hexmist, but without mana, they can't really take down the Senna there.
Yeah, there was a bit of of no respect in that play from the side of the Karma because you cannot work like that, especially when you don't see the Leona. And the idea was potentially to bait, but without knowledge of the enemy jungler either, you can just essentially put yourself in a bad spot and die, like she just did. Still, it's not a kill that will immediately change everything that has happened previously, but it does mean that at least you get something back. The only bad thing that I can see over that play from AKM is the fact that the kill didn't go to the Talia, which is so far behind in comparison to the Viego. So that's kind of the only thing that I would say it's the bad thing, honestly.
Yeah, you got a Dark Seal Talia with the Fiendish Codex and an extra Amplifying Tome. It's going to still take a little while for them to be able to get to that Mythic. Especially with going for that Dark Seal as well. Like, you are playing very high risk, high reward playstyle there, picking that extra 350 gold rather than, whatever you want to go for. Talia did go first strike. Hexmist does have that available to get that extra little bit of gold, and will probably have the boots as well, along with the, the item haste augment.
Oh, the bait.
But hold that thought, though. A lot of damage onto Sneb. Oh, man. Ends up being a 1-for-1. Steel City Warrior will pick up the kill against the Camille with that Shadow Surge.
Yeah, and a lot of that actually really nicely played by Smeb, ignoring the fear from the backs. We utilizing the ultimate really nicely. It does mean that the Camille gets the 1-for-1, and you do gotta criticize a little bit Hero plays a lot for taking so much damage. I feel like the idea is the right one. The execution could have been a little bit better, but at the end of the day, it is a 1-for-1. You do get a couple of plates here in the top lane, and importantly as well, you're denying such a huge wave to the Camille. That's so much gold that she's losing immediate access to, and it's not like Shen is losing quite a bit of that because right now he's responding in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, Kuna Blades is still really trying to stabilize from that catastrophic beginning that they had a couple of minutes ago. Still behind by 2k, and it really ceded a lot of this river control early on with the first Rift Herald of the game coming up here at the 8:40 minute mark. Very early take from Gang 7. Ocean Drake is the first on the map here, so unfortunately, the MSI Ocean Drakes did not carry over into the VTS. Still with that hope of that Cloud Soul or potentially that Hextech Soul that you predicted, TDS. But it just feels like for now the tempo advantage is still way in control of G7, and it's going to take another good push from Akuma Blades to bring it back.
Yeah, I feel like they need to pull off a play, particularly much more so in the mid lane, just because it is a champion that you really wanted to play around, this Tristana, and it's not really finding a lot of value or a lot of playing with. Okay, yeah, or not finding a lot of playing with and leaving her alone in an island. Like, yes, she can get a play, but you really need to find some of those skills, some of those impact kills, because she took Ignite as well, so she's really banking on getting an early kill at least.
I like this coming in from Gang 7. They're really shutting down Smeb here and making sure that if the Camille wants to play this split pushing role, gonna have to do it without a tower. First tower of the game going down before 10 minutes. Gang 7 Mirage, they know that they've got to keep the tempo going, and that is exactly what they did.
Yeah, and to make it more apparent why that play is actually so good, it's because one thing that you always see the Shen struggle with is that yes, he has to stand united, but you leave your lane open. Oh wait, oh,
Okay, yeah, Fluke
oh,
barely
oh.
alive, had to use both the flash and had to get some healing to be able to get out of that one. Great flash to be able to get away.
Yeah, but apart from that, like to add to that, he also got the level up just in time. Like that was so lucky because if not, Fluke is dead. Fluke is dead before the ultimate from the Senna comes in, gets the level up, and then flashes away. Really important that he doesn't die there actually because he still has ignite, so there's a chance that you can opt into a solo kill into the Vex. But all in all, that is such a threatening thing to see because the Vex can now potentially threaten almost always the Tristana. Dive maybe? I don't think so, but sort of.
Yeah, with Hexmist here, Best Turtle NA really gonna have to think about this one. A lot of damage on the keyboarder though, as we do get the United. It is a 4v3 as we get the flash from Hexmist, and now the rest of Akuma Blades is split up so badly. Turtle will pick up the kill against Hexmist, but will actually find himself under tower, gonna get shut down. Gonna give that kill over to Ratchet though, so not the best use of the gold. Meanwhile, Sneb is gonna teleport in themselves, gonna be able to get the shutdown on to Fluke against Turtle NA, and the Senna's gonna fall along with Ala falling as well. Ends up being a very bloody battle.
Yeah, and a really forced play by G7 Mirage ends up getting punished. They lose 3 members. They get 2 in contrast, but it's not that super valuable. We see the replay here. Like, I understand wanting to force the play, but was it really that necessary? Especially because the ultimate comes in, the flash comes in. You force so much to you to get the most out of this play. Hexmate survived for so long. I don't even think you need to do that if you're best turtle because I think essentially the Talia was already dead. But crucially, also look at the minimap. Vex is so far away from this play. 3 members were already here, or 4 members were already here by AKM, but instead you had just 3 members from the side of G7 Mirage. So the play was always going to be kind of bad, and Vex didn't even have ultimate either. So she couldn't force the play by herself either.
Yeah, it ended up being a 3-for-2 over to Akuma Blades. That was the play that they were looking for, handed to them on a silver platter thanks to Gang 7 Mirage. Very importantly, that shutdown going against Best Turtle NA. That gold, unfortunately, going over to Ratchet, who is going to get the least value out of anybody that was in that fight, but still being able to pick up kills onto Ala, and as well going to be able to get that first kill onto the Senna. Going to be able to give some money over to Keyboarder and to Fluke as well. So it ends up working really well for Akuma Blades. They're back to within 3K, which, considering that they started off 3K behind, the fact that they've been able to stabilize is really, really good for them.
Yeah, they are now in a spot where they can maybe look towards that mid-game team fighting that they really wanted to in a kind of good spot. They have 3 mythics, potentially 5 away.
Okay, we got the flash forward onto Ratchet, but Keyboarder is very low. The bullet time is going to land a ton of damage onto the Senna, but the shield from Optic Waffles going to keep him alive.
Yeah, it's not enough damage, but it does blow the flash away from the Senna. And I feel like if you're Ratchet, you trade your flash away for the Senna almost every day of the way. It's still a nice play to pull off, and it's a reminder of what we can see later on in the game as well, whenever there's a chance for an engage like that. Oh, ouch.
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage coming in from Optic Waffles and from Keyboarder as well. The Eclipse is unlocked, and that's going to mean, you know, just even more lethality, even more just damage coming through, especially once you do get to that Muramana 210 stacks on that tier of the Goddess. I think that's very surprising here, seeing only 1 tier being utilized in this game. Speaking of only ones of something, we've only got 1 stack on Hexmist's Dark Seal, but he does have that Leandri's Anguish, looking to go for a little more offensive build, going to be able to get that dot as well. You know, personally, as a Talia player, it's very difficult to get the best value out of Leandri's. I think I find the Everfrost really, really strong, and also, you know, maybe even going for something spicy, but hey, it's going to work really well. Going to be able to shred the health against Ala and even Turtle NA.
I actually like the crown quite a bit now that you mentioned the potential builds. I understand why this game wouldn't be that good because there's quite a bit of poke, so the crown will be popped immediately. But I think that it's one of the better options as well with Talia, and it's something to look forward to. I can kind of understand the Leandris this game just because there's a lot of healing, so having that dot damage can be good to keep that damage stacking, and then if you get the Morello or someone gets heal cut, then it can add up to that damage as well. But all in all, I feel like this is probably the best to make the most damage out of this potential spot, especially with a fight potentially for the next dragon or the dragon that comes after this one, which is Mountain. Then that can be the idea that they are playing around from AKM. Oh.
Okay, so Camcom, congratulations to you. You are the proud winner of the Game 1 Dragon predictions. It is a Cloud Soul for Game 1 here. That extra movement speed in the jungle, the ultimate ability haste, all of that coming on to game number 1 here. Ooh. But also Rift Herald getting taken by AKM, and fights going on in the mid lane. A lot of damage on Steel City Warrior. The bullet time will land even through the even through the Stand United. Turtle and A is going to get hit by the seismic. Shov's going to get slowed by the threaded volley, but down to about 200 HP. Going to be a nice play for AKM.
Yeah, and they're playing against a Misfortune that has lethality. Like, I can understand thinking that you can probably turn it around and make something happen, but lethality Misfortune will destroy you, will make your life miserable if you want to fight in such a close space, because their ultimate will hit you completely, and we see that Steel City Warrior dies through his own shield, through the Stand United shield, and it's just so hard for the Vex to survive at this point. Later on, with a little bit more health, with a little bit more survivability, thanks to the Stand United shield becoming bigger, as well as having Sonjas, I can kind of see the play being not that bad of an idea. But at this point, it just plays into what AKM won, and you just gave away an advantage that realistically shouldn't have been given at all.
I mean, looking at what has happened in the last 10 minutes with Akuma Blades giving up 6 kills so early on in the contest to be able to bring it back to within 2K and to get past that awkward early game is putting them into a really, really good position there and shows their adaptability even in sticky situations. So now they have the Gale Force unlocked for Fluke. You've got a ton of damage from Keyboard that we've seen already represented with those bullet times. And enough of the front line with the Locket of the Iron Solari as well for Ratchet. You're going to be able to potentially contest this next dragon coming up in 3 minutes.
Now, the good thing for both teams is that because it is a Cloud Drake or a Cloud Soul, it means that it's not the highest priority for either to try and focus on. And if you want to give it up, it's much easy to allow yourself to give it up. So it's not a huge implication that both teams have to go for. But if they do decide to fight for, this is the best spot for AKM to opt into. 1 item completed on Tristana and Misfortune, like you pointed out. You have 5 mythics completed, essentially. I blanked on that, but yeah, 5 mythics. Around the timing of the dragon spawning, you should be able to get the Misfortune Mana Immune. I think almost completely stacked. Oh, wait.
Okay, we got a lot of damage on Hexmist. Ignite's going to be used to secure the kill against him. Steel City Warrior with the Shadow Surge will pick up 1. The Buster Shot used, and there comes the Cavalry. Steel City Warrior able to get the Fear, and Fluke will fall 2 for nothing.
That was such a good, quick decision-making by Steel City Warrior, forcing himself onto the Talia first of all, to burst her out because she has less resistances, less level, so it's easier to kill her, and then with the help of the team, you can disengage from the Tristana and then re-engage with your ultimate. That was such a nicely played, mechanically played 2v1, and then just forcing an advantage once again for G7 Mirage. Really nice to play overall.
Yeah, I have to point something out really quick. Hexmist, I've yet to see a Weaver's Wall. I've yet to see an ultimate yet.
He did it once.
I did it once, and, you know, that's good to be able to use it, but we haven't yet seen the impact of the ult quite utilized here yet, and I feel like that's got to be something that needs to be talked about here in this next couple of minutes, because now level 11, Hexmist gets the extended range, gonna start to be able to come online here, and if you're going to want to keep up with Gang 7, you've got to be able to use the split pushing potential that you have with Smeb, with that teleport, and the Weaver's Wall, that extra mobility that you've got to utilize all of that and potentially bring it to the table. But for now, it's Gang 7 with the tempo back into their favor. They pick up that mid tower.
Yeah, and I like that you bring that point up with the Weaver's Wall, because around this timing, when the dragon is up, it's, oh wait,
Whoa, what was that? Turtle NA is going to get hit by the Hextech Ultimatum despite the Heartbreaker, but is still alive. Steel City Warrior will take down Hexmist. Another Shadow Surge going to land as we do get a shutdown thanks to Smeb onto best Turtle NA. Makes it a 1-for-1 so far. Bullet Time's going to be used on the Steel City Warrior. Going to be able to get a massive amount of damage as Keyboarder will stop the killing spree from Steel City Warrior, but Fluke is in all alone, going to try to flash away. Going to be able to barely avoid the root and using the extra movement speed, but it is a grenade dropped from Optic Waffles to end up making it a 3-for-2. 3-for-2.
Yeah, and that was such a chaotic fight. It started out of nowhere with Camille grabbing Best Turtle NA on the Viego and not allowing him to escape. But the Stand United comes in to try and make him survive. He doesn't survive, but the Shen is able to get onto play. And once again, we see Steel City Warrior with such a good ultimate, killing Tali immediately, and then jumping into Keyboarder, throwing him away from the teamfight. And even though Steel City Warrior dies, he still was able to put the Misfortune completely away from the team and not allowing her to do anything with her ultimate. Like, the ultimate was just used on Steel City Warrior. So the value there wasn't the highest of value. Like, we see it here, how this starts with Best Turtle NA getting collapsed on, but crucially, the two things that we mentioned, Shen arriving and Steel City Warrior separating Keyboarder.
Yeah, pointing that out, the seismic shove from Hexmist, you have to be able to land the now vertical use of the stones to be able to get that stun off. And really, if you don't do that, seismic shove deals no damage, and you need to be able to land multiple stones to be able to get that E. But, take a look at Optic Waffles going in, no fear, flashing forward, going to be able to pick up that extra kill. Makes it a positive play for Gang 7, and decides that now's the time, with only 5 stacks, to go for the Magi Stole Stealer. What's your thoughts on that?
5 is better than none, right? So I think
yeah, of course.
Wait.
Okay, Fluke having the Gale Force, gonna try to get away from the Senna, gonna try to get away from Turtle NA, but no, gonna get rooted and tooted and bambooted back to the fountain.
He's dead. That's everything that I can say. He's dead. But yeah, talking a little bit about that play was really nice. Once again, picking off Fluke. He has been quite a bit on the sideline, and his impact hasn't been that high with the Tristana on the sideline. So you're just collecting a couple of kills, a really huge amount of gold. But wait, once again.
Yeah, Ratchet's going to potentially get caught out. Going to use the Zenith Blade to go over to Waffles, but going to be a lot of damage thanks to the Senna. Bullet Time going to get canceled. And that's going to be 1 down, 2 down with Fluke down for another 5 seconds. Turtle NA and the rest of Gang 7 say this is a free Baron, and they are going to go for it.
Yeah, no TP on the Tristana, no Misfortune ultimate. Ratchet is still down. Camille does have the teleport if she wants to, but it just feels like it wouldn't be a good play to force. I think it's on Talia if she wants to try and steal it, but is it actually the play? Wait.
Gonna try for it! You try for it. Yeah, I love the heroics though. I've always wanted to do it, and I've done it a couple of times, right? I've done it a couple of times where I've weavered wall in and just drive by smite, picks up the Baron, but that is not the play. That's not the right angle. You end up going right into it, and
I think she smited out of fear. And then, 225. Yeah, she smited out of fear, I think, at the start. And that's why at the end she wasn't able to collect it. If she just waited a little bit longer, she actually could have stolen the Baron.
Mm-hmm. I do have to shout out Smeb, though, did get a nice payment out of that Baron, picking up the inner tower in the bottom lane. That's going to be a nice amount of gold in their pockets, but Keyboarder is now in trouble. Oh my goodness, the double root from the Senna going to be able to get the shutdown onto Keyboarder, and Ratchet will fall as well. Turtle NA will pick up the second, and that is a 5v3 power play for Gang 7 Mirage.
Yeah, the pickups that they have been fighting have been so good from Gang 7 Mirage. Much more so than the team fighting, it's the picks that they are able to find out of nowhere. They end up working out so nicely, and we see Optic Waffle really forcing the player. He's really a front-lining Karma, not something that you see every day, but it's working out so nicely. And I do want to comment on something as well. I almost always forget the name of the item, but the glaive item, the lethality item that denies vision. yeah, Umbral Dave has been so pivotal in allowing for the Senna to find the vision down that AKM wants to lay down, and then open up a space for the team to just go in completely blindly for the enemy team.
I feel like Riot has been trying forever since the item came out to see Umbral Glade get utilized, and it's always nice to see it come and become available because, like you said, it's like an extra Oracle lens, and you get to give yourself that extra little bit of vision, but at this moment, it's G7M Mirage trying to be able to put the final touches on a pretty solid game 1 here. They've got Baron up for another 45 seconds, and they've got nice pushing waves in the bottom and the mid lane, and looking to be able to utilize a 4-1 strategy to try to pick up these inhibitors. They got both towers down to about 66% HP, but the Senna's going to fall to the nice knock-up and damage thanks to Hexmist. It's going to be 1 down as Turtle NA, maybe the next target here. It's going to be Smeb, maybe in trouble. Hexacold Mayhem is going to be used. Turtle NA is extremely low, going to be ignited, going to be down to 100 HP, but is still alive for the time being. Steel City Warrior with a personal space shield, going to be able to get the Stand United shield from Steel City Warrior. I can't believe that this mech is still alive. The Buster Shot wasn't quite enough, but Fluke now going to get the resets. The rocket jump can't kill Ola, and now it's a 2v2. Waffle's able to get the grenade shot and the double kill against Hexmith. Ratchet is the only one left alive, and in a bloody fight for G7M Mirage, they will be able to take the ace against Akuma Blades.
How did Shen survive? How did Steel City Warrior survive? How did Turtle survive? He started that out without being present in the fight, and everything just kind of worked out for G7. To start off though, this was a really nice pickup onto the Senna, and this starts with Hexmist. This is what we have been talking about, right? Talia getting those pickups with the W, getting the damage down consistently, trying to do as much, and it's 2 fights separated on the side, but it's a difference in numbers that almost ends up benefiting the side of AKM. Another nice pull-up by the Talia, but maybe the difference in goal is so high that they just couldn't win this fight, because look at the health bars. There's so many that are so low.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Fluke was going to be able to get it, but the shielding was just enough for All Praise Allah to be able to survive there, and that makes the difference. Optic Waffles having to use the flash to be able to secure that final kill, but hey, that is an ace against Akuma Blades. You keep them behind the 8-ball. You now have Cloud Soul Point. You didn't pick up any base structures though, so that is still a good play here for Akuma Blades. Can they do anything about it though? Turtle NA, All Praise Allah, and Steel City Warrior gonna look to try to pick up an easy kill against Smeb, and will do so kind of flawlessly.
Yeah, 2v1 was almost doable. 3v1 becomes almost not doable. So at the end, it doesn't work out for Smeb, trying to live up to his name, but doesn't work out still. They do get the kill into the cameo from G7 Mirage. They are now going to push on the top side and try and get the last outer turret that they are missing to try and maybe open up the base. And that's a kind of a failure on not being able to go, wait.
Okay, we got the start going in on a keyboarder. No! Hexmist with the damage, going to be on the wrong side of that blue buff, as the Senna will pick up 1. Makes it a jungle for mid lane, which is a fairly even trade.
I don't agree that much. I think that it's a better trade for AKM because Talia is 2-8. Like
that's fair. You're right. You're right.
In that sense, like they get much more gold out of killing Steel City Warrior. So it's a positive trade overall, and I think the kill went to the Misfortune as well. So it's better for them.
Fair enough. I think I can't remember. I've already lost it. I've already forgotten who took that kill. Pardon me, but regardless of that. This is now, I think, regardless of the early, pretty disastrous start for Hexmist, being 0-5 at one point, now 2-8, is about to be 3 items. And 3-item Talia is extremely scary. Shadow Flame Leandries, and going to be very close to being able to pick up the Rabadons as well. It's going to be a lot of AP. The amount of burst damage that you're able to get if you land the full combo cannot be ignored here. So looking to see if they can land that, along with almost 3 items on Fluke as well. If Akuma Blades is able to survive a couple more minutes and get the Infinity Edge and Rabadons unlocked, this could be a very different game, as Best Turtle NA is going to be caught out in the brush. Sandy Knight's going to be used, and they're going to look to turn that one around. G7 Mirage has arrived as the posse that they want to be. Gang 7 Mirage picks up one. Hexmith's looking to be able to pick up one as well. Gets the shutdown onto Optic Waffles. Going to be a lot of damage thanks to the bullet time, but not enough to get down Best Turtle and A. Going to be the rocket jump, not over the wall. And now Best Turtle and A is looking to finish the job. Picks up another one. Going to be able to get the Guardian Angel proc on Smeb, and that is going to be the second ace of this game.
Best Turtle with the bait into then just disengaging into once again re-engaging and winning the fight. This is the value of having so many shields, so much healing. When you can deal a lot of damage but also survive a lot of damage on your side, it just becomes so easy to fight team fights. G7 Mirage doing this almost perfectly, flawlessly in the game. Yes, there were some mishaps here and there. It's early in the season, so it does matter. It does happen, but such a good game by them, such a good draft by them, and securing the first victory unless...
Okay, Hexmith's going to be able to take down the Senate. Steel City Warriors extremely low as well, and the Heroics have indeed arrived. The Weaver's Wall into the damage will be enough for Akuma Blades not to end this game.
Baron is up. 2 members dead. No teleports on either of those 2 members. This can be a potential turnaround for AKM, actually, if they collect this Baron buff, which seems to be the case.
Yeah, can do it. They don't have any... they have Stand United available for All Praise Allah if they maybe wanted to go in for a sneaky play, but it does look like they are looking to go in for the potential fight here at Baron. Stand United's going to use... Ratchet is now down to about a quarter HP as we do move in. Going to be the objective bounty played by Hexmist, and now this fight is going completely into Akuma Blade's favor. Allah, though, going to be able to use the dash to potentially get away. Optic Waffles is here. Optic Waffles coming in, going to be able to pick up one against Smeb, getting a massive amount of damage. 21 stacks on that Majai's. Gonna end up giving another kill over to Hexmist, though. Oh my god! Oh my god! Optic Waffles! The nukes are continuing to drop. And what looked to potentially be a replay there and a repositioning and potentially a revival of Akuma Blades is now maybe not to be. Optic Waffles damage going to result in a Game 1 victory for Gang 7 Mirage.
So everything that I said before they almost throw away the game of the Baron, just think of it as if I said it right now. Like just to make it easier on me to not repeat everything. But yeah, G7 Mirage with a really good game, really nice draft, good execution, mistakes here and there. Obviously, we always like it happens early season, but you have to praise how they played. Particularly to me, Steel City Warrior and Optic Waffles. Those 2 were so impactful in the game. Yes, Steel City Warrior died quite a bit, but he found so many angles with the Hex ultimate with the Bex ultimate that were so good. And then Optic Waffles, he kept so many times the team alive with the shields, as well as just running around and hitting the mantra Qs. Like it was an actual carry karma performance.
It sure was. Like I had my doubts. I had my doubts when we first saw the Senna Karma, but I mean the stats don't lie. Optic Waffles 27,000 damage on a carry karma, Luden's Echo, Cosmic Drive, almost a full stacked Majai's as well was coming into play and dropped all of that massive damage coming in through that fight. Shout out to Hexmist, though. Second most damage in the game, was able to scale up quite nicely despite a disastrous start.
Well, look at that. He was at 1.2 and 8, ended the game 7 and 10. So being able to turn it around quite nicely. It is, to a certain degree, good that he got the highest damage on his team. But I feel like I kind of got sidetracked with that. But just to finish, I do think that we didn't see the highest potential of the Talia in this game. So hopefully we get another try in the next game, because I feel like Talia can do quite a bit more.
I agree. I think a part of the issue was the first 2 deaths that Hexmist had at the very beginning, like less than 4 minutes into the game, was 0-2, and it ends up costing a ton of early game tempo. That first Rift Herald, the second Drake, all of the river control, leading to Gang 7 Mirage being able to have complete control of the Rift very, very early on in Game 1, and looking to see what Akuma Blades is going to be able to bring to the table in Game 2. It is a 3-game series, definitely not out of this one just yet. You do not want to count out Akuma Blades because they are winners, they are champions, and we expect them to bring that A game here in game number 2. We're going to take a quick break before we jump into that draft. Don't go anywhere. All right, everybody. We are live for what is going to be an intense battle between G7M Mirage and Akuma Blades. Moving in out of game one, Akuma Blades showing a lot of resilience, but falling early in game one to some miscalculations, TDS.
Yeah, a lot of that had to do with early game planning from Gang7, playing it accordingly. A lot of that, obviously, as well. Mistakes that did happen for Akuma, but I would like to put a lot of attention, much more so, into the mid game because, like you were pointing out, Akuma were able to come back until a certain point, but in the mid game particularly, there was a really huge action in the mid around the mid lane, and that really turned the balances in favor of Gang7. So if Akuma can correct those kind of things, they can show themselves in a better light in this game and maybe take this second game potentially. But looking at the pick and ban, we have once again focused towards the mid lane, Senna taking away, which I think is the right adaptation because Senna can be so good and can allow for so many carries to survive and thrive. And I feel like the karma can be just taken away if the side of Gang7 doesn't pick it. Or
Yeah,
it's
karma-
banned away instead.
Yeah, karma gonna get taken away here, and interestingly enough, Lucian banned out in the second ban for Gang7 in game one. Not banning it out here indicates to me that they may be looking to go for a Lucian Nami play or something that can work out well there, forcing Akuma Blade's hand. I like the strategy. This is what I want to see out of draft. Gang7 Mirage recognizing that they have first pick, forcing Akuma to ban that Lucian.
Yeah, and I like that is a really important point that you bring up because it's something that not a lot of teams tend to do. That it's taking the potential power picks out of their other team and forcing them to ban it away. So I love to see the Lucian here. Now, talking about power picks, once again, Talia this time around for Gang7 Mirage. Maybe Best Nate can showcase the performance that Talia should be showcasing at this level. How impactful can she be and how powerful can she be? But this does mean that before we talk about that, actually, that can still be a flex. So we don't know if it's best or Nate. I'm just speculating here, but I think that it's interesting that they go for the Talia once again. And Misfortune gets picked.
Yeah, so I mean, the draft so far, it's been somewhat similar in terms of the power picks that we have seen from both of these teams. I mean, extraordinarily so, Jinx is not even considered. Like, she has completely fallen off in 12.9 so far. I've yet to see her really take any sort of value, but it is still available. It is still an option for these teams to pick up. We do, however, get to see the hover and the selection of the most picked champion in week one of the VTS, that Nautilus going to be paired with the MF.
So Nautilus works in the same vein as the Leona. You set up your ultimate, you set up your CC, you allow for the Misfortune to get the most damaged out, and that's essentially how you want to play around it. So not much being played around it or not much thrown into that. Now, this is an interesting pick coming from the set of Gang7 because yes, we know the power from Lucian Nami, but Nami in of itself is a nice support still. Like, she can do quite a bit of damage. She's good in the early stages of the lane. And if we get, I think we saw it last week, if I'm not wrong. I'm not 100% sure if we saw it here, but we saw or I at least saw the brand Nami, if I'm not wrong. So if Gang7 is a team that can bring that out, would be really exciting because that is such a good combo. But instead opting for the Gangplank, which was banned away in the previous game. So throwing that blind pick here, and I really like the Gangplank because it allows for you to have that late game prowess with that potential in the mid game as well with the global ultimates. Kind of like the Shen as well.
Yeah, you're bringing me flashbacks from week one with the brand Nami. Yeah, it was, I did not believe it at first, but now total believer, and you were the one that said, hey, watch out for what that combo can do. And it is still available for Gang7 Mirage to pick up if they wanted to go for something a little bit more flexible. We saw Optic Waffles go for the Karma and play it really, really well as an APC Karma in game one, and so opportunity for him to use that again here in game two. However, Akuma Blades deciding that if you're going to show your Gangplank, we might as well show our top laner as well, and Smeb is going to be picking up that Aatrox here. Definitely going to, I think, really test his ability to be able to be consistent in that 1v1.
Yeah, it's quite interesting matchup to see, and it's really on the top lane player to be able to execute on it, because if the Aatrox fall behind, it's quite a tough matchup later on. So it's going to be interesting seeing what happens out there. Quickly talking about the secondary ban phase that we're seeing right now, we have the Graves, we have the Shyvana once again, and a lot of attention towards the jungle side, obviously, because we don't know yet where the Talia may end up going, but it just shows how scary it can be to have that flex. Because since you don't know, you're forcing the hand of the enemy team, and it opens up for still City Warriors pool to still be open. And there's the Olaf ban. I'm glad that it's been away because even though I wanted to see it, it just shows that it's a champion that you need to be careful about. It's a horror.
Oh.
Let's not react yet. Let's not react yet. It's horrors. They always do that with us.
I saw the Shaco. I was like, I'll take some Shaco gameplay, absolutely, but no, alas. I think maybe Akuma Blades is trying to call Gang7's bluff here, going for the Zed. Zed has a lot of ability to be able to escape the full combo that the Talia can go for, maybe forcing Turtle and 8 to go for the Talia jungle and force something out in the mid lane here.
The thing is, that can be a set flex. Like, set jungle is still a thing that can be played. So it's a good bluff out of Akuma Blades because they don't know what to pick. The Ornn being picked here means that can be a Talia mid lane, a Gangplank mid lane, and a Talia jungle. So even throwing more potential here, just potential flexes all over the place and throwing around what they can opt into, but already setting up for a really interesting game out of Gang7. And now they're missing AD carry, unless this can also be a Talia in the bot lane, like before we get any pick here. So this just feels like anything can go here at this point. And ooh, Kindred.
Okay, all right, Gang7. What's going on here? We got Ornn, we got Gangplank, we got Kindred and Talia. The only thing I know for certain is that this support is going to be Nami. I can almost guarantee it at this point that it's going to be Nami support. Other than that, though, my prediction here is that it's gonna be you can put Optic Waffles onto the Talia, have the Ornn maybe go mid, and then put the Gangplank top, or because you do know that it is going to potentially be a Zed now in the jungle with the Victor in the mid lane, it does kind of give you a little bit more ability to be able to be a little more to decide now where you want to go. This is a really big test for Gang7 Mirage in their champion pool. How much depth do they have, and is that range going to be impactful enough for them to be able to win game 2?
Yeah, this is a really interesting composition to try and play around. They have a really strong mid and late game, particularly much more so late game, obviously, than mid game. But they still have a really nice mid game that they can play around. And if they can showcase that really nice playstyle here with this amount of picks here, it sets a precedent that is scary for the rest of the teams, because now you really don't know what to put attention to because they have so many picks to play around with. On the Akuma Blade side, though, I was a little bit scared because this was such a heavy mid-game composition. Like, they were so throwing so much into the mid-game and early game a little bit because of the set, the Aatrox, and the Misfortune. So adding the Victor to that at least gives them some leeway into the late game. But if Akuma Blades doesn't have a lead by mid game, or it's not strong enough to fight in the mid game, this can be a really harsh game on them.
Yeah, one thing that I'm like really noticing here about Akuma Blades lineup is the lack of ganking efficacy, we could say, from this Zed, because you don't have any guaranteed CC in any one of these lanes. They all are conditional, meaning that every single one of these CC opportunities has to land, because Hexmist isn't bringing that to the table at all. You've got to see the Darkened Blade land that knock up in the top lane. You've got to see the Gravity Storm perfectly placed on whatever mid laner Gang7 is going to choose so that you can get that stun, and Ratchet has to land the Dredge line to be able to get that root. So for me, like, the easiest lane to gank is going to be that bottom lane.
Yeah.
But early on, it's going to be really, really tough to actually figure it out, I think.
Okay, this is a first for me. Double Misfortune was shown. Yeah, now it's not. But yeah, from what it seemed, from what we got a glimpse of it, it looked like Ornn was going to be in the mid lane and Gangplank in the top lane. So I kind of like the idea of throwing the Ornn into the mid lane here. I would have thought, if I'm honest here, that if you're going to put the Ornn in the mid lane, Malphite could have been a good option. because like against the if it was set, then it would have been a good precedent in that idea, and even in top lane it wouldn't be that bad. But obviously, since you don't know if it was actually going to be the set mid lane, then the Ornn overall covers quite a good array of matchups, and it's not that bad in the whole scheme of things. Like this composition from Gang 7 really thrives on having so much flex potential that everything can work out so nicely. But the early game is going to be so crucial for both teams.
Oh yeah. I think, mark placement and being able to get best turtle on A, those Mark of the Kindred stacks, once you're able to get to 4, that's when the composition and the champion really starts to become viable and online. So there is that ramp up that both teams need, and so the early game might be the deciding factor here. If Akuma Blades has the same disastrous early game that they had in game 1, it's going to give Gang 7 Mirage such an advantage for them here in game 2, but we won't know until we actually get into it. TDS though, we were both wrong for our Dragon Soul predictions in game 1. Let's double down. What do you think it's going to be here in game 2?
You know what? I will sacrifice myself, and I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going to say Cloud Soul, so that we get an actual soul.
you get double Cloud Day today. That would be pretty fun. Last week you were right. You were right both game 1 and game 2 where it was double Mountain Soul. So it could potentially be double Cloud here in week 2. Definitely would not be surprised, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to double down on Ocean Soul.
Okay.
Ocean Soul would be so fun for either one of these teams. It would really help for whoever is able to get it if we do get to that point. And this game does have the potential to go the distance. So would love to see that Ocean Rift and that Ocean Soul. Chat, let us know what you guys think your prediction is for the Ocean Soul and Rift here in game number 2. We're going to take a quick break to get ourselves loaded in, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back before you know it. All right, everybody. I know we've had a couple of minutes to take a look at these drafts and the bamboozlements that we've got, but let me tell you, these two teams, two titans of the Winter 2022 split for the Victoris Triumph Series, are now back. G7 Mirage with a 1-game advantage against Akuma Blades, but definitely do not count that out. We're in the summer now, but it feels like, things have already been heating up, TDS.
Yeah, everything is ready for them to just battle it out and get some kills. Like, I see AKM this game, I just feel like they are going to go all in and kill someone as hard as they can and just potentially run with that. So I'm excited to see how much do they wanna bring into this game and how much they wanna win it from both sides, at least. Also, to put attention to it, obviously the Talia is 80 carry or AP carry because it's not actually an 80 carry, but yeah, it's actually going to be exciting seeing her, especially with the exhaust, to just deny from the misfortune.
Exactly. I mean, despite the composition looking a little weird, it is a fully fledged comp that is built up. You've got an ADC, you've got an APC, you've got a support, a tank, and a bruiser. They're just not in the traditional lanes that you would normally expect them in. So interesting to see how that's going to be played out. For me, it feels like Steel City Warrior is the one that has that's gotten the short end of the stick, is really not going to be looking to take the kill against Fluke, but just looking to be able to survive long enough to get to those ornaments, level 13, level 14, and has the Unbound Spellbook as well. Meanwhile, though, Ratchet does get the root onto Optic Waffles. The Ignite is going to come in as well. Keyboarder opting to not flash. Good damage, though.
Yeah, and a really interesting decision making by Optic Waffles walking so far forward like that. Like, I understand that if you have the level 2 from the Nami because you get the extra healing anyway, and you can kind of go away against that. Now that they have the level 2, we see it. But at level 1, you're in such a risky situation because if you get hooked, you can just get bursted out because Nautilus level 1 has a lot of CC by himself. So, really interesting situation. Both Ignites go down, so not a lot of summoners being blown. So we may see another play potentially soon enough.
Yeah, and, looking at this bottom lane, you do have a lot of layered CC, multiple stuns coming through, but first gank of the game is going to be Best Turtle NA, going to go up against Smeb. He is on the wrong side of the lane and will eventually fall. Who's going to take this first kill? Who gets first blood? It is Best Turtle NA.
So that's a good kill to get. Well, first of all, it is a good kill to get overall. It's nice that Best Turtle does get it. The only thing that I can say there it's that it would have been better. Oh no, that is all.
Oh, that's so sad. Turtle NA in trouble. Hexmist is going to take a lot of damage on to Turtle, but that mark is going to be there and will force Hexmist away.
Yeah, the thing is that Burst Turtle, because like we were mentioning with the previous play, Smeb didn't have the mark on his head, so Burst Turtle doesn't get the mark from that. He's now going to lose the mark in the map, which is really detrimental for the Kindred, because you play around getting your marks early on, like at least from the jungle camps. So if you don't even get, even though he gets killed, you don't even get a mark out of anything, that's putting you in a tough spot early on, and can take you quite a bit to get the 4 marks that you really value as a Kindred, and can be quite bad coming into the mid game. That is a really strong point for AKM.
Yeah, we'll have to keep track on that Kindred mark counter here as we move throughout this very important matchup here. Gang 7 was able to really dominate the early stages of Game 1, forcing Akuma Blades into a position that they couldn't get out of. And now, Akuma Blades have at least had a better early game than they did previously, which I guess isn't the most difficult thing to do.
Yeah, when you lose with 4 kills to start a game, like certainly anything that it's not that, it's better, 100%. So already a good early game. We do need to focus a little bit as well onto the jungles, because in the previous game the jungles were already far ahead for the side of G7. This time around instead, the side is super far ahead from the Kindred in terms of farming. He's putting the pace onto the Kindred, so this can be a really nice game to see Hexmits try and pop off.
Yeah, I mean, part of that being the 2 Scuttle Crabs that Hexmist was able to get. I mean, basically nullifying that first blood that he had against Smeb. Smeb was able to get back to lane, is in a bit of a CS deficit, but is doing quite all right.
Ooh.
As Steel City Warriors looking to be able to get some damage on to Fluke, gets the Brittle, but doesn't proc the knockup, so that gank doesn't come through. Speaking of other developments, though, Tear the Goddess coming in for Keyboarder once again, as we do get the nice damage from the bubble coming through. Ratchet is very much in trouble as the exhaust gets used. The Nami's going to be able to pick up one. Keyboarder's going to try to be able to pick up another. Optic Waffle surviving for so long, and that's going to be the Nami with a double kill.
The heal coming just in time to keep the Thalia with enough health. For, yeah, you get the trade onto the Thalia, but it forces the Misfortune to such a bad spot, and you get the kill. And that kill onto the Misfortune was really important. Ooh, okay, I think it's fine, yeah. That kill onto the Misfortune was really important because the CS deficit on the bot lane was becoming quite an apparent issue. So the fact that they get 2 kills, and they also force every summoner out of the Misfortune, sets up for the Thalia, for the Kindred to come eventually to the bot lane.
Yeah, Thalia not known for the early game power that she provides. The longer that the game goes on, the more powerful that Thalia becomes. So, despite having a little bit of a rough start, doesn't mean that Gang 7 does not have an APC. You just gotta wait a little bit longer for her to get that mythic item and utilize that effectively here. But because of the backing advantage, it ends up being G7 giving over the first Drake of the game. Infernal is going to be up in 4.5.
So we're still up on both of our predictions. Anything can come up. We're still in the game, so it's quite nice. And I want to say that for the side of AKM, getting those 2 first Drakes, the Mountain and the Infernal, can be quite nice for them, especially because they have so much damage directed towards mid-game play. Getting that Infernal Drake for that moment can add that extra oomph that they may lack sometimes.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, that's a really beautiful set if they are able to get it. A nice pair. If you're able to get Infernal and Mountain, it's basically saying, hey, we got extra damage, and we have a little extra time to deal that damage with the resistances. And you do get a play coming into the jungle. Hexmist is going to use the Shadow to be able to get away, but it ends up being the red buff going in. Ratchet! No. Oh no! Ratchet is all alone, going to be left to the slaughter. Turtle NA picks up second.
Yeah, and I forgot to do this in the previous game, but can we see how many marks does the Kindred have right now? I'm pretty sure she must have 1 at least, right? Yeah, so
1.
At least she has 1, even though she has been involved in 2 kills. Getting 1 mark, it's not the worst of situations, but certainly could have been a little bit better in terms of pace. Oh, wait, Keyboarder?
Oh my god! Keyboarder. Oh my word, Waffles not quite aiming the threaded volley. Going to end up resulting in Keyboarder falling, but yeah, your point previously, Turtle NA is still only at 1 mark and still is handicapped until we get to that 4 mark point.
Yeah, and even with that, he's finding so much avenues to find value in the game. Really nice plays all around. This bot lane with the Nami really showcasing how powerful the Nami can be with the mages in the bot lane. Like we saw in the last week with the Fran, with the Thalia right now, it's just finding so much power. Like, you can burst out so many targets just like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, yeah. The seismic shove landing onto the dredge line. Waffles, oh man, dropping the mastery emote as well. That is exactly what you want to do with that seismic shove. Meanwhile, though, top side, Rift Herald is looking to be taken. Turtle NA is going to be able to get it, as we do get some damage coming through due to the death mark.
Wait,
but
what?
no use of the Lamb's Respite is going to result in multiple members of G7 going down. Smeb will pick up Ala. Hexmist will pick up Steel City Warrior. And ends up being a 3-for-0 trade at the Rift Herald.
Yeah, and that was a fight that should have been so easily on G7's favor, even though they didn't have the ultimate from Steel City Warrior and the ultimate from the Gangplank either. They had their Lamb's Respite. You just need to pop it off, and the Kindred would be able to kill some of these targets, or at least make them be in a super low state. But because they kill the Kindred so quickly, Zed escapes, the Ornn without someone to deal damage becomes really not that valuable, and the Gangplank is not yet at a spot where he can deal most of the damage. So the Kindred really dying there was really important for AKM to get back the kills, and importantly, it shortens the lead that G7 Rush had. It's now just 200 gold or 300 gold, just a little bit over that.
Yeah, taking a look at other developments on the Rift, Turtle NA is topside with the Rift Herald. Maybe looking to be able to drop that here. Could potentially unlock
Really wanna
Ala
be
to
the
go
Aatrox.
for a dragon fight, but it's actually Smeb just going way too far forward, not respecting the brush. Able to pick up an easy kill for All Praise Ala.
Yeah, it's pretty much the second time I think we've seen that. Oh,
Okay, we got Tidal Wave going to be used to go for the
This is
disengage
Tidal
thanks to
Wave.
the Nami, but it's a lot of damage from the... Oh my goodness, very close, but the bullet time will just be enough with the Ignite to give Ratchet the kill. Makes it a 1-for-1.
yeah, and the tidal wave was set up in a really nice spot. Waffles walked back into the ultimate a bit, so that meant that he was going to get hit by the full front of it with the extra ignite, so the Talia ends up dying because of that. But all in all, it's still a 3v2 kill that they get, and it's going into, I think it's the Nami. Oh. Ooh, that was close. I think it's the Nami that actually got the kill, so not the worst situations, but you still got so much gold in the top side. Look at that. They even get another push.
Yeah, Turtle NA going to be able to force the and one against the top that top tower, getting a lot of gold there. As we do get the Weaver's Wall, going to go on to Beyonder. Has the seismic shove ready. Doesn't quite get it early on, but
the
does end up
flash in here.
finding it, getting the stun. But Hex Mist will use the Death Mark to pick up the kill against Optic Waffles.
Oh, that was so close. I like the attempt.
All right, Lancer Spike going to be used this time as well as the Call of the Forge God in a 2v3. Flash will be used as well as the World Ender from Smeb. Be able to walk away though.
So 2 flashes or 2 ultimates for a flash out of the Aatrox. I think I take it. The dragon as well. It's what we talked about. It's a nice acquisition for AKM because it also sets up for them Ocean Soul. So you
Yes.
get the right pick this week with the Rift so far. But it is a really nice soul to get because they cannot allow to give away this soul to the side of G7 Rush. They have so much healing. They have champions that make the most out of this soul. So if they give it away, it can be quite detrimental.
Despite Optic Waffles' third death, though, it is still a gold lead for Gang 7 Mirage, with, I believe, most of that allocated towards Oprezala and Best Turtle NA. 2-1-1, as well as 1-1-1 for the Gangplank. Able to get all 5 turret plates and the first gold advantage over to this Gangplank to potentially find the first item of the game, which is that Essence Reaver along with the Serrated Dirk. So looking to build that lethality. Classic build here for most Gangplanks, I would say. Steel City Warrior level 10. Doesn't quite have his Sunfire Aegis yet, but is just continuing to try to scale up and get that stuff. As we get the play coming through onto Ratchet once again, can't quite get the damage quite yet. Shut down onto the Nami though, ends up being a 2v3. Optic Waffles is low, but the Shadow going to use a Hexmist to try to be able to get away. The Seismic Shove does not land. Turtle NA able to pick up Keyboarder though with Ratchet and Hexmist both extremely low.
Luke has
Luke
flash.
is on the way, wanting to maybe go in for the Chaos Storm. Does have it ready, but doesn't want to commit to it. Oh man, Hexmist is extremely low though. He does decide to go for the flash forward now. Ends up picking up Waffles.
Yeah, and the disrespect from the Talia, thinking that with the ultimate, but with the ultimate it was going to be so hard. Oh wait, Explode.
Okay, Turtle NA though now maybe
Turtle, I
in
think, is
trouble.
dead.
Fluke does
not.
have a
Nami's
little bit
here.
of movement speed from the Q, but now we've got the Nami on the way. Can't quite land the Aqua Prison, so Fluke will be able to survive.
Yeah, that was close. If Luke gets the kill onto the Kindred, that is a really important kill for the Victor to get. But with just the Talia kill, they forced so much time out of the Victor that Ornn was able to push in the mid lane, so he didn't lose quite... Like, the Ornn got quite a bit of value in that play as well. And they also, I think, got a plate out in the mid lane before the plates fell down. So all in all, it's not a bad value for the side of G7 Mirage, but we see the attention onto the bot lane once again. We see the damage get bursted out immediately, and a shutdown was given as well. So all in all, value for AKM as well in that play.
Yeah, taking a look at what we've got here. Mythic items online for 6 out of the 10 members of this game, with 3 to each team. Imperial Mandate locked in for the Nami here. I think that is the classic play. Meanwhile, though, nice pick. Hexmist on a rampage.
Yeah, and it's surprising that they have such a freeway onto the top side, but the lack of attention that they gave away for this play, like they knew that Misfortune was on top side, so you have to know that this was a potential play here.
All right, Turtle and A gonna
Turtle.
move forward, going to maybe be in trouble as we do get a lot of damage onto Smeb. Smeb is so low, and that's gonna be the 4th kill for Nami here. Gonna be able to get the knockup thanks to Steel City Warrior. Double kill!
How does she get
That's
it?
a double kill for this Nami. Carry Nami? Question mark?
So I understand giving your support some love in terms of gold, but I'm pretty sure no one on the side of G7 is feeling happy about that just because you're losing so much value onto the rest of the members. Now, maybe Hexmits die. No, he should be fine, yeah. There's barely any chance. I like the idea for going into Yomu's, but now a play on the bot lane with Priscilla just 1 level behind.
Yeah, Death Mark gonna be used. Oh my god. They even get the flash out of that one as well. As a gameplay coming in, Hexmith though, taking extra tower shots for no reason. Gonna have to back away from this play.
Yeah, the thing is that the set is the main gold body right now with a picture. So if either of those two die, guess what? AKM is in a completely bad spot. It's going to be really depend on both of them to get the game going for G7 Mirage, because if not, it can be quite a difficult scenario for them to force fights. Now, GP is behind the set, which is also a good news for the side of AKM. And if they can keep this GP from being a powerful champion or get towards his mythic, which is a really strong point for the GP as well, then that's something that they can work around from the side of AKM.
Yeah, 21 seconds remaining though until this dragon spawns, and like you stated, TDS, I don't think that G7 wants to give Akuma the chance for that soul point, but at the moment, it's Akuma with the advantage in River. As they do get the dredge line landed onto Best Turtle, and he immediately drops the Lamb's fight. Tidal is going to come through as well. The Aqua Prism lands. Smith is going to fall. Ratchet is extremely low.
Nice
Going to be able to deny the bullet time. Shut down on to Fluke. Over to Optic Waffles as keep orders are now extremely low. Steel City Warrior going to try to be able to get in. Double kill for Optic Waffles, finding the Nautilus, trying to back up, and now Hex missed. And the rest of Akuma Blades are looking to run for the hills. Can they get out of this? They will, but they do not get Soul Point.
The heroes of the team fight, Head on the Nami and Steel City Warrior on the Urn. They did so much to keep the members alive. The tidal wave was so good and so on point, and then the cancel. Well, yeah, he's dead. Like, yeah, let's focus once again onto the Urn. The cancel from the Urn to stop the bullet time. Like we see it here. Tidal wave onto 4 members or 3 members, and then the Lamb's Respite also keeping alive some members. But here, the Orn knockup, so valuable, keeping the members alive thanks to that. And then the Nami just has to buff up the Orn. This Orn is so strong for some reason. Like, he got so much free time. He died once, but it doesn't matter. It's Orn. It's so perfect. And this is the Drake that they wanted to get. And luckily, this means that they stopped the Soul before 30 minutes, which I think is so ideal for G7. Oh, he messed up the combo.
Steel City Warrior gonna get hit by the Infernal Chains. Meb 2 levels behind the Orn. This is a fight that Steel City Warrior can win. And with Best Turtle and A and the Cavalry arriving, Smeb might have just used Flash for no reason.
Yep.
Gonna be Turtle and A with their 4th kill.
So to keep up on the stats with that, how many marks does the Kindred have right now? Because we saw previously she was at 1, right now she's at 5, so she was able to recover quite nicely. 5 marks at 20 minutes or before 20 minutes is quite a good rate for the Kindred. And even with the advantages that AKM were able to get in some instances, not able to stop the Kindred from get to this point, it's really, really nice.
Yeah, the progression of G7 Mirage has been able to get past that awkward early phase that teams that like to scale up tend to have. And now they're in a point where, I mean, they are in a decent gold lead. They've got decent stacks on a Best Turtle and A. All praise Allah now with 2 items, the Prowler's Claw build coming through, and with the opportunity to just continue to deal that lethality damage. The big question now is, how does G7 stop the just assassination that Hexmith is going to bring to the table every single time? He is really having a redemption game here.
Yeah, the thing is that with the Nami, if they can just find the right angle, they can stop almost anything from the set. Like, Set is a really straightforward champion, and he's pretty much, you know, essentially how he's going to try and play around some of these fights. If you can act accordingly, there shouldn't be that much of a risk. Vestorley almost dying, so taking the full front. Oh, Please risk.
Okay, yeah, fight's gonna get initiated here. Call of the Forge God will not land the bullet time, but the Chaos Storm will get a little bit of damage onto the Nami, though. Smev is gonna be able to go forward. The Infernal Chain's not going to land a Steel City Warrior, but the Aqua Prison will. Hexmas is godlike, being able to get the kill on to All Praise Allah. And Gang 7 Mirage going to lose one as Akuma Blades go straight towards the Baron Pit.
Yeah, they are looking for the Baron, but I'm not sure if this is the best option, just because there is teleport on the Ornn, there is teleport still on the Gangplank, and they did utilize a lot of the ultimates to try and force the fight previously, so they're in a spot where they can just get collapsed here. So
yeah, Ratchet
as well.
Ratchet is extremely low, 2,700 health remaining. They're going to try to go for this one and maybe clean this up. Optic Waffles, it's going to be a little bit of damage. The knockup is there with a shutdown on Optic Waffles as we do get Best Turtle NA dropping the Lamb's Respite. Keyboarder and Smeb are inside the pit. They can't get out. Smeb can't get out. It's a double kill for Best Turtle NA, but Smeb will be able to get the shutdown, and the Nami does not land the Aqua Prison with a lot of damage on the Steel City Warrior. The healing from Steel City Warrior, the healing on a Steel City Warrior is enough to keep alive for a little bit, but Hexmas is legendary. A double kill for the Zed and an ace for Akuma Blades.
Yeah. I swear, the balancing in this game is the worst thing that I have seen in my whole life, but ignoring that part, that was such a thing that should have never happened for AKM, but it's G7 being way too late onto the fight. Like, this fight starts with so many members being so late. Talia does absolutely nothing. She doesn't exist in this fight. Then the Kindred ultimate coming down quite nicely, but there's two clear moments for me that really define this fight. First is the Kindred dying, because Kindred is one of the main damage dealers, but this part here. Steel City Warrior tries to flash over the wall, fails, and then he uses his knockup. So he doesn't have enough damage, he doesn't have enough value to be able to pull the play there. And GP simply doesn't find the value here. This is why I don't like the build that GP opted into this game. He's not tanky enough, like he doesn't have enough health. Even if he deals enough damage, he's just as squishy. So his value is just completely not that easy to find. And I think that he would have found much more value if he could have much more survivability. But it's still not a point in the game where G7 is in a bad spot. Yes, they lose the Baron, but they are still strong enough to fight, forcing out the ultimate from a Smeb, and they can even give away this dragon.
Yeah, most importantly for Akuma Blades is that Hexmist and Fluke keep the Baron buff on their person. Yeah. And they're going to be able to use that to force G7 to give Akuma Blades soul point. That's going to be up in 5 minutes at the 28-ish minute mark. Maybe a chance, though, for whatever team who's able to get Baron to then go for Dragon as well. So I think all eyes are on this Baron pit in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, the next fight is going to be really important for the cooldowns that are going to be used, but also for the items. We will have 2 items on the Ornn, 3 items on the Kindred, 3 items on the Gangplank. If those champions don't get completely destroyed in a fight, we may see the value that the side of G7 really wants to find. Steel City Warrior.
Hey, we got the gravity well being used. Hexmas is on the way. Gonna try to get there quickly enough, but the Lance Spy does drop, as well as the Gangplank ult. The Tidal Wave's gonna come through. Turtle NA will fall, but it's a double kill for the Nami, though, who just continues to pick up kill after kill. Hexmas extremely low. The ebb and flow does not go onto Hexmas, but the weaving wall into the threaded volley will give the shutdown to Optic Waffles.
Yeah, and Keyboarder almost gets away with it. Can get a straight back kill, potentially.
Yeah. Oh, he sure does.
It's a shutdown because Nami collected so many kills out of nowhere. So, at least it's a valuable trade. Allah? Okay, I thought he was going to commit a little bit more. But that's a huge fight for the side of G7. This almost worked out for AKM, bursting out the Kindred. But Lamb's Respite is such a good ultimate to deny this damage. And then, the moment that the ultimate, the tidal wave comes in, 3-man knockup into killing both of those champions. I don't know how Head does it, but he has done it. And importantly as well, this shutdown is so huge.
Yeah, 1,000 gold over to Optic Waffles. A late game mage like the Talia wants to find it.
Here?
And I think it's Zhonya's. Yeah, Zhonya's and Shadow Flame. Oh my god.
She was 1 item previously. Okay.
Okay,
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you're 7-4 now. You're all right.
Oh,
Ratchet is just gonna walk
don't
in as
follow
well.
it.
These supports are just giving away their lives. No, gonna be able to get out of that one, but very importantly, that all of that gold did go on to Optic Waffles. Now with Shadow Flame, now with the Zhonya's Hourglass, is a really prevalent threat in these team fights as long as she doesn't get bursted down. With that Zhonya's Hourglass, does have the chance to do so. As we do get a Death Push coming in from AKM, do they find it? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think they are really far away. They don't have the flash from the Nautilus right now, so it's really hard for them to just go into the lane and get the kill unless they overcommit. And there's still this Sonjas for the Talia. Now, Silver Warrior will face check. Yeah, they cannot allow themselves to be there for much longer because the Steel City Warrior will survive their damage.
Yeah, so not going to get the play that Akuma Blades wanted, but they're gonna try again. You know, if it doesn't work once, try again. And Akuma Blades are looking to be able to go for the play. Hexmas, though, is going to be seen by Steel City Warrior. That's not the person that they wanted to face check the brush, so he'll just walk away.
Yeah, that is such a scary Ornn. Like, the fact that Ornn can just walk like that and they have to respect him completely. Oh, engage.
Okay, we got the fight coming in. Keyboard is going to get by the call of the Forge Cup, but the knockup does not land, nor does the Tidal Wave. That is a massive allocation of ultimates being used before the Baron. All is going to be down to about half HP, but that is Call of the Forge God, Tidal Wave, and Cannon Barrage all expended even before Baron gets started.
Yeah, and I honestly don't understand why G7 committed so much for that fight. Like, it's going to be back for the next dragon, but the thing is that you don't need... Oh, wait.
Okay, Smeb did not get the back that he wanted. Smeb is in trouble.
No.
Smeb gonna go
seconds.
down.
43 seconds for dragon. 45 or 40 now for the Aatrox. No teleport. Are they going to commit for this? I think you should just go for dragon. Like, you don't need the Baron buff. Yeah, like, they don't need the Baron buff. They need the dragon.
I think that's a smart move. Commit to the dragon. Make sure that Akuma Blades does not get the Ocean Soul. The extra regen in the battle that fights might be the difference maker as Ala gets down to about 100 HP by that combo. But now the play coming in on to Best Turtle and A being able to drop the Lambs Respect right at the very end. Looking to be able to get the healing, but Hexmas will be able to get the kill onto Turtle. Meanwhile, the fight coming in with the Tidal Wave coming through. Shut down on to Hexmas once again. Optic Waffles looking for another one. Gets the double kill onto Ratchet and looking for more. Looking for a third. We're going to see the Call of the Forge God land onto Fluke. Ala gets that and Akuma Blades collapse.
Yeah, and everything working out. It was looking so harsh on them. It almost looked like they were going to lose that fight in a 4v5 with the Kindred dying there, with Ala taking so much damage away from her. Kindred, she's dead.
Okay, it's gonna be an ace.
Oh, Smeb. Yeah, it's an ace. And the dragon. This is the perfect, like, this for G7. It's not only the ace, it's not only the dragon. The game now has a slowdown post 30 minutes. So this means that this is the best state for G7 to be in. And look at the fight, 4v5. The Hexmas does everything to try and blow up the members. Ala survives with a sliver of health, and then the engage onto the Kindred. But with ultimate Lamb's Respite, that doesn't matter. And they are able to kill the set so effectively here. Oh, the burst damage there.
Yeah, the burst damage is incredible. The Tidal Wave once again from the Nami is impeccable. Double knockup into tons of damage. They just have so many ways to knock up Akuma Blades. And once Hexmas falls, I mean, that is a majority of your damage, and it ends up resulting in Akuma Blades just not being able to follow through. Optic Waffles survives now 7, 5, and 10 with a 10-stack Dark Seal and pretty much fully completed items. They stop the Dragon Soul again, so it's going to be a 34 Dragon Soul for Akuma Blades if they do get it. And now their comp is starting to potentially fall apart here. We're getting into the way late game.
Yeah, we're reaching the point where there's 3 items per champion. Even GP has a Sonjas right now. So there's so much to survive from both sides. Who's on the side?
Yeah, so we get the fight coming in on the Fluke. They land the knockup. The tidal wave going to be zoned out of it. Now Ratchet going to try to flash forward. Optic Waffle will pick up one. Is unstoppable. The knockups are coming through. Hexmist is going to use the Death Mark. Going to get it on to the Nami, but it's another kill for Ala, though. A massive bullet time. Going to be able to get the shutdown on Optic Waffles, and now it's Steel City Warrior trying to go for some heroics. Able to get one. Can he get another? No, he can't. Akuma Blades with the ace.
And Kindred dies with the ultimate still up. Kindred cannot afford to do that, never. She needs to pop it, even if it's preemptively. Pop it, because that's so much value that you're losing by dying like that. Hexmid survives, this is going to be the inhibitor, and even though it was such a good spot for the side of G7 Mirage, another thing that I have to call out, Sonjas. There was no Sonja usage from the side of G7 in that fight. Like, there's so much that they have for survivability, but they get bursted out immediately that they simply cannot use it, and now they lose inhibitor because of that. We see how the fight happens, and it's G7 that starts it, but realistically, they don't need to.
No, they don't. Like, they get Fluke, and they get the knockup, they get the Zonias, but then they don't continue with it, though. Okay, live shutdown on to Hexmist as all it does go. It's going to be Fluke now, maybe in trouble. Optic Waffle's not going to be able to land the knockup, but the root does from the Everfrost. And that's going to be 2 down and Baron on the menu.
So there's Misfortune Ultimate close to being up, so that is going to be something to keep in mind. But you have... Wait.
Okay, can they do it? Can they do it? Okay, no. Bullet time does land as well as the Lamb's Respite. Okay, so we're good. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, so I was expecting the Lamb's Respite to come a little bit before the ultimate, the Smite from the Kindred, but it's still fine. They get the Baron, they get the advantage that they needed to, and it was before the Dragon, which means that next Dragon should be in the hands of G7 because of the timer. It's 1:30 and the Baron buff should still last until then.
Exactly. You know, it's going to be up now. Going to deny Akuma Blades once again. That Ocean Soul, as we can take a look at that very close play. Bullet time used. The Smite at... Oh, very close. Less than 100 HP, but Turtle and A able to land it.
Yeah, and I actually got a little scared because I saw previous Smite, and it's the Smite that the Urn gets with the Unsealed Spellbook. But yeah, luckily they have the double Smite, so it should have been even easier to secure because of that.
So with Baron up, growing purple, also developing these mythic items as well. We have 3 unlocked, 4 unlocked now. Eternal Winter available for Optic Waffles as Hexmist going to get hit by the knockup because he already used the Shadow. Death, the Mark getting used, but he's just gonna die. And Akuma Blades will collapse. Optic Waffles will pick up another.
They can win here. There's 2 members dead. That's their way clear. Ratchet potentially as well.
Oh,
they can finish the game here.
This is disaster despite a legendary Zed in the early game. They just couldn't close out the game, and the scaling is just too good for G7 Mirage. And now it's going to take a heroic defense from Akuma Blades in order to survive this one. Cannon Barrage will get used, but Keyboarder and Smeb are able to take down Best Turtle and A. He will not be available for this next fight. Meanwhile, that's a lot of damage onto Smeb, but they do not feel comfortable going into that. With 11 seconds remaining until Hexmist respawns, they decide to go towards Dragon.
Yeah, they needed Kindred to win, because Kindred is a lot of their 80 damage they can get ranged, so that was important for the Kindred to be there. And Misfortune stopped the back, so that's actually going to be a turret.
Wow, wow, G7. Well, they get the Dragon. That I do not think is the play that they wanted. They lose so much out of that.
Yeah, losing the turret is quite impactful because, well, there's no teleports left. But when the teleport from the Victor comes up, if there's a wave pushing, there's a chance for AKM to be able to take that up. Like, that's the only bad thing about Smep not taking the teleport, or one of the main bad things about Smep not taking teleport this game. It's threatening that backdoor potential. Steel City Warrior.
Okay, gonna get hit, gonna be able to use the knockup to get away, but Tidal Wave used.
It's fine, it's a tank. Like, I kind of want to know how much longer the cooldown for Tidal Wave is, even though I don't think they're going to force a fight, because they don't need to. There's no objectives up.
Oh yeah, so 60 seconds.
Yeah, it should be
It's
absolutely
alright.
right.
Yeah, it's okay. So, I mean, for the time being, though, yeah, for the time being, TDS, it just looks like G7 is content with maybe deciding this game at Baron or maybe even at the Dragon. Both of these teams are at Soul. They have the chance to be able to go for that Ocean Soul next. And, I mean, the longer that the game goes on, the more that G7 scales up. And really the only late game insurance that AKM have is Fluke on this Victor, and he's still at 3 items.
Yeah, but that's a good part for AKM at least, right? Because he's at 3 items, so he can get stronger. But like you're pointing out, it's the late game much more beneficial for G7, even though I don't like the idea, or I don't really get why you would opt into the Sun Jets, even if you get bursted out as a GP. It's still the late game advantage for G7 Mirage. So they just need to wait a little bit longer and they can play around this quite easily. That's why I think them buying time for those objectives coming up, it's a good idea for them.
Yeah, they think that they can win the 5v5, but there are a couple of conditions that need to be met. One, keyboarder, that bullet time needs to get canceled out. Best Turtle in A needs to land the Lamb's Respect, cannot die with it, nor can Optic Waffles or All Plays Isla not have or not utilize their Zonias that they have paid money to get. There is a lot on the line in this next fight here, and both of these teams are itching for it.
Yeah, like anything can go well or wrong so close in these fights. Like there's so much damage that everyone can die immediately. So it needs to be played so nicely, so perfectly.
Sure does. Not going to quite go initiating into that one. Ratchet maybe looking to go for the dredge line, but doesn't find what he was looking for, so will try to back away. Steel City Warrior playing that front line. At the moment, G7 Mirage has the super minions up in the mid lane, and the inhibitor is back online as well. They are looking to go for the flank here. Best Turtle NA is trying to be able to find it, using those Mark of the Kindred stacks to maybe go for something here, but they're going to get pushed out. And now Best Turtle NA going to be able to get a little bit of damage onto Smeb. The fight has begun. Going to be able to get the knock-up onto Smeb. Going to be able to get the tidal wave as well. Smeb is still alive, though. Smeb did not die. All plays, all will be able to get the kill onto Ratchet, and then Turtle will flash forward. Going to die to Smeb, who is still at full HP. Who'll go golden. Alla very close to going down, but the parlay into the barrel will pick up Smeb in a 4v3 for the time being. A shutdown. Optic Waffles on the keyboarder. Massive shutdown. Fluke is now extremely low. Gonna try to get away from the threaded volley. Optic Waffle still alive. Hexmist still alive. Optic Waffle going golden. Gonna flash away from the shadow. And it ends up being a 3-for-1 or 3-for-4. Oh my god. 2-for-4, pardon me, but it's not over yet. Hexmist cannot back. And now they're looking to be able to end the game.
Yeah, they can win here if Steel City just stops the back.
Oh,
he doesn't know.
Oh, he doesn't know. What a crucial flash. Yeah. Hexmist's going to be able to get out and gets away to be able to keep their chances alive. Teleport going to be coming through from... Oh my god! I can't even say it. Optic Waffles goes down. Hexmist is still alive. It's a double kill for Hexmist. Oh, that flash coming in so clutch for the Zed.
Yeah, and Smeb is trying to come here to stop the back from Steel City. The Dragon is having 30. There's going to be much... I think equal members, maybe? No, there's going to be much more members for the side of G7 because there's teleport on the Victor. Oh wait, Smeb, unless Smeb's not here.
Yeah, World Ender gonna be used. Oh my god! The healing is just massive. And Akuma Blades are gonna be able to take down both Total NA and Steel City. 60 seconds remaining on the death timers, and Optic Waffles and Alla are not up for 20 seconds. You are absolutely right. They're looking to end the game.
Like, it's on Talia to be able to protect this for 10 seconds until... Well, no, GP is up, actually. So 10 seconds, I think they have enough weight clear with those two to survive. But it's going to be... If the game is not over, it's Baron and Dragon for the side of AKM. Yeah, they're not going to commit much more than this.
Yeah, Baron is up, Dragon is up, Ocean Soul at 40 minutes. Not as impactful, but they're going to be able to take the cake of the Rift. They get the Ocean Soul, they're going to get Baron, and they're going to be in prime position to potentially end this game.
Yeah, Baron died immediately. They should know that they are here. Yeah, like, there's the ultimate from the GP is still, there's the Talia ulti. And the barrels from the Gangplank.
Yeah, gonna
like
go
this.
in! Oh my god, Fluke is so low, gonna go golden with less than 100 HP. Optic Waffles will take one. The Baron's gonna be gold thanks to Keyboarder, but it's a double kill for Optic Waffles. Meanwhile, Hexman's gonna try to go for the death mark on to the Nami, but they will still survive thanks to the Lamb's Respite. Optic Waffles still has the Weaver's Wall, but decides not to go for it.
Yeah, and I'm fine with it. Like, they have the advantage in numbers. They have right now a lot of power that they can play around with. They do lose the Baron buff, so it's still risky, but they have the potential members there. And the ultimate coming in, I was expecting the Talia wall to just come down so that she can close up the distance, or at least force them into a spot where they are taking Baron damage and the ultimate from the Gangplank damage. I don't know how X-Fluke didn't die there. I really don't know how.
It was really, really close. Goes golden. Keyboarder has to be the one to secure Baron. Optic Waffles thought about it as well. Has the Gangplank, but not quite going to find it. And even Hexmas almost able to get down the Nami, but the Lamb's Respect coming in clutch. Gonna be able to keep the Nami alive. Baron and Ocean Soul are the reward for Akuma Blades.
Yeah, they get everything like you were pointing out. We're so late in the game where the dragon is not necessarily the biggest objective. It is a good objective to have because the enemy doesn't have it, but it's not the most important one. The Baron buff, though, having the open inhibitors in mid lane to try and push with the Baron buff, just one turn left in the Nexus, so it's still a risky situation if they don't play according with the Baron, and can be really detrimental for G7 Mirage. Are we going to get to Elder Dragon, though?
I mean, if that's the case, I think Akuma is looking to be able to get the top lane inhibitor down as well.
Yeah.
It would not be available for that Elder when it does spawn in 4 minutes, and so that looks to potentially be the play. Smeb gonna be able to get away there as the rest of Akuma Blades now looking to go towards top side. That is second inhibitor going to be taken out. Tidal Wave is going to be used. Hexmas is going to be able to use a shadow to be able to get away, but the knockups from the Call of the Forge God and the Tidal Wave going to keep the inhibitor alive.
Yeah, but they used everything and they didn't get anything of meaning, like at least a kill back, which would have been so huge for G7 Mirage. The cooldowns are low now thanks to the fact that we're so in late game, but they can re-engage here with the Baron buff.
Yeah, 40 seconds left on Baron, looking to be able to go for it. Steel City Warrior going to get hit by the Infernal Chains, but Akuma Blades is trying to be able to get this game and take this to a Game 3. They've got 30 seconds left on Baron, but they got what they wanted. Depth Charge going to be used on the Turtle, and it does have the Lamb's Respect. Going to be able to drop it this time, as the Seismic Shove not going to be able to get them out of the save zone.
Yep.
Turtle NA is still alive. Turtle survives the play, but Steel City Warrior does not. We got the revive from the Guardian Angel onto Smeb, gonna get stunned, but will not go down, and the rest of the Akuma Blades are now looking to use Baron for the next 5 seconds to take down the Nexus.
Yeah,
they want to end the game. Optic Waffles and the rest of G7 are gonna have to go for some heroics. Oh my god! It was so close, but Akuma Blades take us to a Game 3.
So I'm gonna be completely honest. I really don't like the fact that we're going to a Game 3 just because it took way too long for this game to finish. But yeah, Akuma Blades does it, and in reality, it's a mix of everything going right and wrong. The game was completely over if the set gets a stop from the back. Like if Set gets a stop in the Dragon Bush where he flashed over the wall, that's it. That's game over. Set cannot do anything. He's dead. But the flash coming in quite crucial because it saves the game. He was able to back there, and I do gotta say, like, were so many situations where Bester Rene put himself forward for no reason at all and gets punished, and that at the end I think ends up giving away the game to Akuma as well.
Oh my god. What a phenomenal game 2. These two teams came in to play, and Akuma Blades, they are gonna have just enough thanks to the legendary Zed. I mean, play of the series so far for me was the 5-head move to flash away from a Steel City Warrior so that he is able to get that back. He then gets the double kill and saves the game for Akuma Blades. Had he not done that, this game would be over. I mean, definitely like a highlight moment for this series for me. But because this series is so good, we get a Game 3, folks. Game number 3 will be coming up here in just a bit. Before we get into that one, though, we're going to set it up. We're going to get a check-in with Camcom, our host, about everything that has transpired in these first 2 games. It's going to be a really, really fun Game 3. Don't go anywhere.
Well, that game, this series is absolutely insane. I understand now why these teams made it to finals. I was just thinking, like, during that game too, I was like, this feels like a finals that I'm watching right now, right? Like, the gameplay, the macro, the execution, everything is so top level right now. The bot lane for G7, it was Waffles in game 1 on the Karma, played absolutely insane. I was saying, like, this Karma player, the Mantra W's are just literally perfect, full healing every single time, and the E's as well are just so insane. And obviously Nami, like, Nami game 2, man, like, there's no words. The ults, every time there was a team fight, I would say, here comes the Nami, and then there would be like a triple kill for him, and I'm like, yep. I don't know how many double kills he got that game on the Nami. It was way too many to count, which is incredibly impressive. I don't know, man. I'm a Nami player myself. I respect all Nami players. That Nami was absolutely insane. Every bubble, every ultimate, every W, just on point. But we can't talk about game 2 without talking about Hexmist on Zed. Basically the name of the game. He kept the team in the game long enough to win the game. It's just...
That's what you want from a, I mean, I dare I say unconventional jungler. I mean, I very rarely see it. It's not something that I expected coming into game 2, but I'm really happy that we got it. Hexmist going legendary. There's just no way my Talia fandom is going to give Optic Waffles and G7 this win, but no, Hexmist continued to just one-up himself throughout the game, finding play after play, ultimately being the hero that Akuma Blades needed.
The hero, absolutely, bringing us now to a game 3. I believe our game 3 draft will be starting here very shortly, so I'll throw it back to our fantastic casters here tonight. Moose and TDS, take it away on game number 3 of our week 2 finals, apparently.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a finals matchup, and we're getting treated to it already in week 2. I have to say, TDS, like, these first 2 weeks of matches have been so good, so phenomenal. And last week ended with our first pentakill in the VTS.
True.
Mario's on that Darius getting a pentakill. Do you think maybe that's a sign of what's to come?
So I don't expect it to be a stomp into a pentakill, if I'm honest, but anything can happen. Like, these teams are really, really good, so I wouldn't be surprised if something like that ends up happening. But quickly speaking about the draft that we are seeing right now, a lot of adaptations, no Zed ban, the GP banned away now, and the Karma is first picked here. Talia left open, and I find it interesting because I don't think Talia was the main problem, even though she messed quite a bit of the W combos. Like, Talia, I feel like, was doing fine in most instances. I feel like there was other things to look at for, but I like the Karma pick here.
Yeah, and so keep in mind that, Gang 7 did get the pick of side selection here in game 3, and they opted to go for blue side once again, and the draft kind of playing out just the same as we saw in game 2. The auction, the LeBlanc, the Lucian getting forced away here thanks to Akuma Blades banging it out third, and the Karma getting locked in. We're seeing a completely different comp from Akuma Blades, the Ezreal Wukong.
Yeah, and the Wukong that has been so popular right now in the jungle, getting picked here potentially for top lane or jungle, we don't know where it's going, but it can be a really good flex to play around with. And the Ezreal, the first time that we're seeing it in the series, a safety carry to try and just not put pressure towards bot side and instead just commit everything towards top side, maybe could be the idea that I see here. answered now by Gang 7 with the Kaisa, which I'm not against. Like, you have the Enchanter to buffer up, but I feel like if you're going to pick the Kaisa, you have to opt into a tank support to get the most out of her early on in lane. And the Olaf, we talked about this before. I like the Olaf pick. I'm really excited to see how does it perform with the new changes.
You know, we got 2 games of the Talia that I was really looking forward to. It is only fitting that we at least get a game of the Olaf that you've been looking forward to here, TDS.
Thanks, sir.
Can be flexible, can go into the... Oh, okay, all right. Really quick, folks, pardon me. Akuma is going to be over on blue side. Gang 7 is going to be over on the red. We'll get that situated on the visuals here really quickly. Apologies for that, but... regardless, now, Akuna Blades with that same draft. The drafts are going to remain the same. The teams are just a little bit different here. With Gang 7 locking in the Wukong and the Trundle, it does give them now that flexibility because either one of them could go top lane or jungle.
Yeah, and one thing that I talked about with the Olaf was that Ragnarok giving you invulnerability to try and get away from CC. But one thing that you cannot step away from, it's the pillar from the Trundle. So even though you do get that invulnerability, the Trundle pillar will come so handy to stop some of the advancement or the potential that the Olaf may get. Now, looking at the second round of bans, we have the Malphite and the Corki as a first. We haven't seen much attention towards the champion, but getting banned here, quite interesting. And I think that we will get a lot of attention towards mid lane in this round because we're lacking a lot of the mid lane potential apart from maybe the Karma.
Right. There is potential for Fluke to maybe go for the Karma mid, and then you find that tank support that you were talking about, TDS, but Gang 7 Mirage isn't worried about that. They are convinced that Hexmist is going to be playing that Olaf. It is still a very strong jungler. Banning out the top lane, the Malphite and the Darius can follow up quite nicely with the Olaf, or should I say initiate what the Olaf is looking to do, and does kind of complement their comp really, really well. So taking those away, Akuma Blades, however, continuing to target Steel City Warrior. He played the Vex somewhat well. I don't think he was the catalyst for the victory in game 1, but they're worried that he could potentially pop off here.
Yeah, and it did quite a lot of good, especially following up on ultimates, getting onto the targets that were a priority. I feel like the Vex was a really important part of it. Getting picked now, the Swain, that can go both mid and support, so it's still a flex pick. I quite like the idea of taking the Swain here, the newly reworked Swain, and it's much more durable, much more damage that you can get in the long run. I do want to see how effective it is in mid and late game, but I feel like it's much better than it was previously.
Okay, so the Swain are now getting locked in here for Gang 7. I assume that is a mid lane Swain. I don't know if we're going to be seeing a Swain Ezreal bottom lane. That could be a really, really tough tough lane here for Gang 7, but it is possible. Akuma Blades, though, going to go straight forward with a tank that set can go into the support role if you wanted to play a little bit more unconventional for Akuma Blades, get that tank that you were talking about. But Hexmist can also go into the mid lane themselves and go for another ADC here. There's the tank that you were talking about, TS, the Nautilus locked in.
Yeah, so we talked about this, the in-tank support engager, so that you can get the passive from the Kaisa much more easily and try and get that burst potential at level 2, which I always like to see paired up with the Kaisa. That means that the Karma will go into the mid lane thanks to her huge flexibility, although I won't take it away, that can still be a top Karma and a mid lane set. Flex potential is still there for both of those champions, but now the counter pick for Gang Mirage, it's on the support, and I really like that they are opting for the Lux. If it's Lux support, I don't discount yet that it's the Swain support, but yeah, it's the Lux pick here, and I really like because it's a lot of range, a lot of CC that you can get, and you're pairing up quite nicely with the Ezreal, because now you have quite a good team fighting power in the other 3 champions, but you also have a lot of poke and range from the Ezreal and the Lux together.
Now let me ask you this, like, you see now the Lux being able to give that extra little bit of CC, that little bit of extra protection there. It is a little bit weaker in terms of, if you get hit by the dredge line, the Lux is dead, so it's very, 100 or nothing kind of thing. But thinking that we saw Optic Waffles play the Karma in the bot lane game 1, what if it's a Hexmist, or what if it's a Fluke playing as the Kaisa and then Steel City Warrior playing as the Ezreal, putting it in as the Swain Lux in the bottom lane.
So I wouldn't be against it, particularly because I don't think Luke Swain is a bad idea for a bot lane. The only problem that I find is that I don't think you would like to put the Ezreal if it's a Karma in the mid lane. Because if it's a Karma in the mid lane, then you will never get the push. Like, you're always 100% of the time losing the push. So you're losing so much pressure in the mid lane, and that can be really, really detrimental if you're on the side of G7M Mirage. Now, it can be good or it can be okay if it's against the Kai'Sa, because yes, you will lose the push to a certain degree as well, but at least there you can kind of contest it better. Karma is much more easy to push lanes compared to the Kai'Sa, so I feel like if it's Kai'Sa mid, Ezreal mid wouldn't be bad. But if it's Karma mid, then Ezreal mid shouldn't be the case at all.
I really like, for me, like my hot take here for Akuma Blades is that it has to be Fluke playing a carry in the mid lane, and like I feel like it has to be the Kai'Sa here, because the Kai'Sa needs to be that powerhouse and is your solo, unless we do get another APC Karma, which I'm not convinced that is going to be the norm here in the VTS. I think that is an outlier. I think that you've only really got one damage dealer post 15 minutes in Hexmist, or even like not Hexmist. Pardon me. I keep on seeing Hexmist as the Kai'Sa. I gotta remember that. True. But no, I think the Kai'Sa is really the only damage dealer that you have into the late game that really benefits from the Karma buffs. Maybe the Olaf and maybe the Setu, but they're not quite as optimized. So I would like to see the mid lane be played by the Kai'Sa so that you can start to really snowball that late game champion forward.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad against it. Like you're pointing out, Fluke has been much more of the player to put your back on apart from Hexmist. So if you have that, potential duo can be quite good. The thing is that when we're talking about duos as well to carry, the thing is X-Fluke and Hexmist being the carry duos of the team, you want to have the 2v2 that is strong enough. And in that regard, Kai'Sa Olaf is not comparable to a Karma Olaf, because when you have the Enchanter and you have the Olaf, you can just buff up the Olaf and you can win that 2v2 quite convincingly. And I feel like that's also the idea here for Akuma. Like, I get giving X-Fluke a carry can be a good idea, but at the same time, you cannot throw away the control over the early stages of the game or over the 2v2s because you want to allow for X-Fluke to carry when he can just get a good pick to try and allow for the rest of the team to carry, and especially Hexmist.
Fair enough. And you bring in a lot of good points there. So really, really appreciate the analysis for that, because we could have gotten some spicy pickups here. We could have had some spicy opportunities, but it does look like we are going to be seeing Steel City Warrior as the Swain. Fluke could be playing as the Karma, so probably the most, not vanilla, but the classic one that we would have expected here out of this play. So really, really cool to see. I think both of these teams recognizing what value they have, where I think really putting in, if you're Akuma Blades on Keyboarder really needs to have a standout game here in Game 3, and giving them the opportunity to make that happen is definitely very, very good, because Akuma is a established team and anyone can pop off at any moment. So really, really cool to see what Akuma Blades bring to the table. Really excited to see if G7 Mirage's composition ends up paying off for them, but we won't know until we actually get onto Summoner's Rift. Before we do, though, TDS, one final opportunity. You're 0 for 2 right now on Dragon Souls. What do we got for Game 3?
You know what? I'll take it here. I'll say it. Cloud Soul. It's gonna be. Yeah,
no! Cloud Soul!
Yeah,
alright.
Take it again.
I'll double down with you. Cloud Soul it is for Game 3. We're gonna get 2 Cloud Souls here in this Week 2 matchup. Definitely gonna be an exciting series and an exciting finale to what has been an amazing match between these two teams. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be live for game number 3 in just a moment. See you guys shortly. Welcome back, everybody. We are live for the finale, the climactic conclusion of this clamorate of
To Summoner's Rift.
cool,
Games.
cool, cool kids. Something. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, it's game 3. Akuna
Almost
Blades
cool,
versus
shit.
G7 Mirage. We got a 5-man death rush. We got Ratchet trying to go for the flash.
no!
We got a root from the Lux. Still gonna have to use the flash though, but hey, looks cool.
So I'll start with saying, like, if it had just run away, like, she could have been like, oh, waffles. That didn't
Field
happen.
goal.
That didn't happen. Nobody saw that. There was just a trade of flashes between supports. That's it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. That mid lane play did not happen. Interesting to see the Lux go for the flash there. I think maybe, I don't know if it was necessary or not, but, had Ratchet used flash and that was it, it would have been such a valuable play for G7 Mirage. But regardless, you get what you expect out of that level 1 engagement. You get some vision here for G7 in the top side of the Rift because you did see all 5 members. So all in all, it's a good back and forth to start off game 3.
Yeah, and I like that they attempted the level 1 because it's a curveball that we haven't seen yet in the series. So it's a nice moment to attempt it, and if you can get something, it's certainly going to be quite valuable. But important to notice, both junglers starting on the bot side, so we may see quite a bit of action on the top side early on.
Speaking of top side and speaking of the junglers, we were talking about it in the break, and I kind of want to pick your brain a little bit more about this because we were talking about, how do these changes really affect Olaf as we move through the mid game and into the late game? Like, how effective is Hexmist going to be now with the adjustments that he's got? Optic Waffles, though, gonna have to use heal to get away from Keyboarder. Akuma Blades gonna be able to come in. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on the scaling now that Hexmist is going to be able to bring to the table.
Yeah, I feel like people not people not saying anything or anything like that. Like you can still stay with some of how Olaf was previously, but right now with the changes to his W, he can actually survive quite well, and he gets better later into the game because the shield scales as well. So that W value is just much better than before. Oh,
Smeb not respecting it. That has been a problem all series, overextensions. G7 Mirage gonna get first blood onto Smeb for the 2nd game in a row.
yeah, and the thing is that this map in the previous game, he luckily was able to find value sometimes, even though most of the time he was getting destroyed. Like, he find value in a lot of instances, but a lot of that had to do with the jungle being able to put pressure onto the enemy jungle. But right now it's not the case. With the mid lane push, the Wukong will actually be able to keep at the same pace as the Olaf in terms of farming, so he's not going to be that far behind. And the advantage that was so prevalent in the previous game, it's not going to be that obvious right now. So Smap dying there, it's really big for the side of G7 Mirage.
Yeah, remember last game 2, Hexmist was able to get a nice chunk of damage onto the Kindred that Turtle NA was playing, as well as pick up the double Scuttle Crab. But with priority in all 3 lanes right now, it's going to be a double Scuttle play for Best Turtle NA.
Yeah, and this is why it's so important to have that priority mid, and why we talked about, even though it was a good potential to send the Ezreal into the mid lane, why it wasn't the best of choices, particularly against the Karma, because you wouldn't get the push. But with the Swain, you do get the push, you're able to allow for the Wukong, and the Wukong now is so far ahead.
And now G7 up by a decent amount of gold, about 5k. Pretty aggressive back from Turtle, but he's gonna get it. Hexmist just barely seeing him, but not able to get it quickly enough. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Steel City Warrior going to be down to about 100 HP. Auto attacks will not be enough, and Fluke will have to back off. But Steel City Warrior gonna have to use Flash to get away from Fluke there. Some really aggressive plays coming in from Akuna Blades.
Yeah, and if the Swain hits the I don't remember the name of the E, I think it's not Vision of Empire, but if he hits the E there to pull back the Karma, I think Karma dies. But the quick feed from the Karma allowing Fluke to survive and almost get a kill instead quite nicely. This mid lane became a little bit more active than we actually expected from the start of it.
Wow, we got the Flux gonna land in the Mystic shot onto Ratchet. Nice trade there. Thanks to Optic Waffles, who did survive that earlier exchange. Ignite was utilized in that one along with his heal, but now Ratchet is back up to full power with the full Summoner Spell kit at his disposal. A nice push forward from Akuna Blades is going to force the first back from them. Going to be able to pick up that pickaxe and 2 long swords for Keyboarder, but because of the timing of that back, Dragon's going to be up, and Optic Waffles might be a little bit behind on getting that Tear of the Goddess.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to opt into the Dragon just because they already saw the Wukong in position. Oh, wait. Oh, the level 6 actually.
Yeah, Alla gonna have to flash. Subjugate, I don't think was used. Maybe he didn't even have it available yet. As we do get the Dredge Line landing onto Turtle NA, he is level 4 up against Ratchet's level 4. Doesn't quite have the decoy, doesn't have to worry about Dredge Line for a couple more seconds, but Ratchet is looking to go for it. Does land the passive route, and is looking to be able to move in as Hexmist and Fluke are now on the way. The Dredge Line lands! Ratchet will pick up the kill against Turtle NA, but now Alla's going to come in, looking to be able to deal some damage coming through with the ultimate from Steel City Warrior. Gets so much value. Double kill, the endless ultimate, a triple kill for Steel City Warrior, trying to get the Quadra, trying to get it, can't quite finish the final kill, but Smeb is running for the hills, gonna get rooted, gonna get pulled back. Steel City Warrior wants the 4th kill, he wants it, and he gets it. That's a rampage for the Swain.
No Quadra kill, or not at least announced, but 4 kills for the Swain. So nicely executed, the ultimate finding so much value, and crucially there we see 2 important things. First, the Smeb arriving late for the play. Oh wait, Waffles?
Waffles does have Arcane Shift, but Turtle NA is on the way, so it is going to be a 2v2. Oh my goodness!
No.
It's a bait! It's a bait! Oh, Turtle NA will pick up that kill.
Yeah, monkey business down there in the bot lane with them just playing around with their food with the Nautilus, baiting in the Nautilus for Vestornate to get the kill. And Vestornate not quite yet has level 6, but they can dive this. Yeah, they can get this kill actually.
Keyboarder! Oh, the True Shot Barrage not landing. Flash will be used.
Yeah, so a flash and heal. Oh, wait.
Okay, we're just gonna continue to fight, I guess, as we do get the Ragnarok gonna be used. Hexmist gonna try to get the damage on the Turtle, and Hexmist is extremely low, and so they get a 1-for-1 so far. As Waffles will pick up Hexmist, but Fluke and now Ratchet are on the way. The light binding misses. The Lux is in trouble. The Dredge Line does not land. Fluke is coming through. Optic Waffles can't quite land it, but the Eye of Empire going to get the slow onto Ratchet. Oh, it's the Lux going to be able to get a little bit of damage, but it's a double kill for Optic Waffles.
So yes, the Lux dies there, but who cares? Like, they are getting everything that they want to. Maybe even a kill on top lane onto Smep. They are fighting. That's a lot of damage.
Oh my god! Oh my god! All praise Allah is somewhat divine right there. Not quite able to have the Sunderer yet, but hey, going to put Smeb into a pretty tough spot.
Yeah, so everywhere that we're seeing over the map, G7 Mirage actually getting so much value, and I think we got a little bit of a glimpse there of the Vision of Empire popping in the top lane, but that is one of the changes of the Swain that I haven't touched on, but it's so important. Vision of Empire now it's global and gives you vision if you hit someone, so it's a great tool to keep tabs onto where the jungle may be if you're wanting to help some lane, be sure if they don't have vision, and I quite like the usage from Steel City Warrior here.
Really, really, like, innovative play coming in from G7 Mirage as they just continue to make play after play happen. The last time they got into an early game advantage, they were able to finish the job and take the win, despite Akuma Blades being able to almost bring it back. You know, the initiative early on from G7 has been so strong in this series, but you cannot count out Akuma Blade's resilience, and they are not out of this game quite yet. As a final strike, the Shoot Shot Barrage lands, as well as the Dredge Line, but Optic Waffles now maybe in trouble. The Void Seeker will come through. Hexmist takes the shutdown.
quite a bit unlucky that they didn't have enough damage to burst out the Nautilus there. Oh,
Okay,
that they
top
didn't
side.
have, yeah, that they didn't have enough damage to burst out the Nautilus there, so they have to commit. And on top side, it's a trade, so it's not bad for all praise Allah. They get the trade kill. The karma does collect the kill, so it's not even that bad for Allah because the amount of gold that you get from the kill, it's not immediately going to a SMAP. So you still will get the advantage in that situation. And interestingly enough, the Olaf didn't go for the dragon. So opening up for this potential hero to just be completely uncontested.
Yeah, Turtle and A
Teleport top,
looking to be able to pick it up once again. It's the third game in a row where G7 has been able to pick up the first Rift Herald, but now can they get out of it? Steel City Warrior is on the way, does have the Demonic Ascension, but they don't need it. Best Turtle and A going to be able to use that dash over the wall to pick up the Rift Herald scot-free.
Yeah, and I respect the disengage there because they didn't know where the bot lane was, they didn't know where Hexmith was, so they respect the potential of play happening there, they commit the Ghost, which is in a really low cooldown, and they get the Herald. All in all, positive play for G7 and Mirage, and we need to see where they do commit the Herald, because top lane is a really potentially good place to put it, with the Trundle being able to destroy turrets quite fast, but bot lane as well to try and open up this Ezreal and this Lux out of that lane.
Well, a big power spike has been unlocked. Steel City Warrior getting the Leandri's Anguish. That dot damage is there. You can just continue to just snowball this Swain. 4-0 and 1. If we take a look at the gold really quick, see how far ahead he is in the lead against Fluke. It's only 600, but you know, he is still the richest person on the Rift. He's 1,300 gold in the lead against Keyboarder. Smeb is extremely low with the Subjugate and the emote used. Oh, praise Allah. We'll take that one solo kill.
Yeah, this top lane is not a fan for a SMAP. With that early kill giving away, like it just snowballed so heavily, all praise Allah. And he can destroy it, like there's no teleport. So a SMAP actually can just lose this turret without the Herald being a factor. Oh.
Steel City Warrior going to get rooted, but will go for the Demonic Ascension. Hexmith is now maybe in trouble, going to get knocked up despite the Ragnarok. Final Spark will land, and Hexmith! Not quite enough damage. Steel City Warrior is unstoppable, but the play is over. Dragon is available, but Steel City Warrior may be in trouble. Dredgeline will land. Shutdown. Going to go over to Ratchet, though, as Akuma Blades is looking to be able to maybe make a play happen here. Turtle and A will take Ratchet after he gets out of his stopwatch. But that's a shutdown onto Steel City.
Yeah, they get the shutdown onto Steel City Warrior. It does go into the pockets of the Nautilus, so it's not the best recipient to get that kill, but it's a shutdown, so it's a lot of gold getting back. But because of that kill, because of what it opens up with all of time and all that, both lane turret secured, top lane turret secured, 10 plates completely secured by G7M already in this early game, and this dragon potentially as well.
I will call your 10 plates and raise you 2 plates in the mid lane and potentially a dragon. For G7, Optic Waffle is going to be in a pretty bad spot. Just arcading shifts into 3. We'll have to flash away from it. And that's going to be Dragon getting taken by Turtle and A. But now Optic Waffle's in a very bad situation. Oh, the Eye of Vision going to obliterate Fluke, and Optic Waffles is still alive. Keyboard is going to try to flash away to try to pick up that kill, and does. Makes it a 1-for-1 exchange, but it is not over yet. Hexmith is going to go for Ragnarok once again against Steel City Warrior. Steel City Warrior is still very strong as Hexmith picks up 1. Turtle and A survives. Ratchet is low. Turtle and A smites and ends up picking up the kill against Ratchet.
And meanwhile, all praise Allah is just bashing onto the top lane turrets, just doing Trundle things up during the top lane. But that fight in the dragon, I think we can get a replay over what happened all around, because it was so hectic. We see the dragon getting collected here, which I think is the correct play. I feel like you should just go for the dragon without getting distracted by Explode, but they tried to go for the kill. They missed quite a bit of abilities, but it does force a lot of the attention from the members of AKM. We see Waffles here, but because Waffles buys so much time, he flashes over the wall and buys enough time for Turtle to come back and collect the dragon. Like, this could have been a good turnaround for AKM, but because they spent so much time trying to get things onto Waffles and onto the dragon, which was left and unfinished, they just overcommit here over the jungle, and it's a nice trade that G7 and Mirage at the end gets back for themselves.
Yeah, I really do have to question mark the reaction that Akuma Blades had. They decide to go for the kills instead of going for the extremely low dragon there. The Lux was almost dead at that point, tanking the dragon, and and she was able to still survive there. It just wasn't coordinated the way that I think Akuma Blades was thinking that it was going to happen in their heads. And unfortunately, that's going to put them behind by 8k gold 15 minutes into the game. I don't know about you, TDS, but this one is looking pretty dire.
Yeah, remember when I said that we're not going to get a stomp of a game 3 with a potential pentakill? It's looking close to that at this moment. 8k at 15 minutes. We have a lot of members that are really strong. We almost got a penta from the Swain because he got a quarter kill. Well, this guy wasn't nearby, but he got close to that. So maybe we actually are in for another potential pentakill this game. Maybe.
I mean, the stars are aligning for Steel City Warrior to have a highlight game. 6-stack Dark Steel looking to be able to get the Rylai's as well, so that once they get into his realm of influence, you are not getting out alive with, just all of the extra gold that he has gotten throughout this game. Doesn't have the best CS, but he doesn't need to. He's so far the richest person on the Rift. Optic Waffle's trying to give him a run for his money, though. 145 CS, almost a fully stacked Tear of the Goddess, about 100 stacks away to be able to go for that Muramana. And once you reach that point, like, G7 or Mirage just has so much control over what fights, where they want to take them.
Yeah, and it's an Ezreal, so he will stack that tier quite quick enough. But we're in the mid game. This is a point where G7 can take so many good fights because they have important ultimates and mythics completed. So I can just see them trying to brute force their way. We can see the Trundle also trying to get some of the turrets down there in the bot lane, which are still gold open up for them to collect. And
oh my god. Oh, Loggins going to be able to keep Ratchet alive. Very close, though.
He's fine, see? Oh, the hook.
He goes in. Depth charge going to be used. Optic Waffles will survive. The shield from the Lux Heroics going to be able to keep him alive, but Turtle Lene will not be able to do so. Shutdown going to land as Steel City Warrior can't quite pick up the kill onto Fluke, but overall, really solid performance from G7. They're able to pick up one, and they pick up the tower in the bottom lane. And another kill onto Smeb.
Yeah, they pick everything that they want. Like, realistically, this is the most top lane island game that we've seen yet, because everything that is happening over the map is completely unrelated to what is happening in the top side. Because Oprizala is just getting turrets, getting kills, surviving by himself, and it's doing so much on the side. Meanwhile, the rest of G7 is winning fights on the other side.
9,000 gold, exactly the advantage here. But Oprizala gonna get hit, as well as a very early mark going to be used by Keyboarder, going to be in a pretty bad spot, but will try to deal the damage on all plays. Ala will end up going down. Shutdown gold. Going over to Hexmist again, though. That's a 3, 4, and 6 Olaf.
That's a super bad decision by Oprizala to re-engage there. Like, he feels so almighty, but he's not that almighty just yet. Like, especially with the whole breaker, like, yes, you can deal damage, but you need a little bit more of survivability before you can opt into that. And he gives away a pretty important shutdown. I think it went to Keyboarder, so it's actually quite a good gold value going back into AKM. It's no longer 9k.
What worries me right now is that I think G7 has the potential to just kind of drop the wallet here with just the big lead that they've got, and you're giving these kills over to Hexmist, who, even though he does scale up with the changes, is still going to fall off. But really quickly, we were both incorrect for the Soul and the Rift here in Game 3. It's going to be a Hex Tech Rift, though. So the opportunity for to be able those Hex Gates and that Snowball to come in.
So I'll see the bright side. At least it's the best Rift in the game. So I get to enjoy myself watching them just moving around the Hex Gates and trying to kill people. That's the positive side out of this. And also a Herald for G7. Oh, for Trundle, I mean.
No, it's mine. It is his kingdom. We're just all living in it. And so Trundle's going to be able to use that to maybe be able to pick up a tower in the top or in the bottom lane here. Hex gates will be used, blue buff secured for Optic Waffles, and G7 escapes with their lives.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. I hope that he. Okay, he didn't. He actually didn't. I was actually expecting him to just walk into and put the Herald down.
Is he gonna
Okay.
do it? He is. He's gonna do it. He's clearing out that wave. He's
Okay,
gonna
he
be looking to
didn't.
go for something here.
He just wait. He's just playing the minigame until he sees nobody close by, and then drops the Herald and finishes the game by himself. I think that's the play here by Oprizala.
So we've got a couple of plays that we're looking for. We're looking for a pentakill from Steel City Warrior. We're looking for All Praise Allah to be able to use that Rift Herald to end the game so they get a Shelly dance. I mean, the opportunities for a G7 win right now are endless, but he can't get caught out right now though. Don't know if All Praise Allah saw Ratchet. He did. So that could be an opportunity for G7 to maybe go towards Baron. No, never mind. Wukong's bottom lane. Never mind.
Yeah, I think that, and even if Wukong was topside, I think that it's a hard objective to pull up right now, because I think that they don't have enough damage yet. Like, they need a little bit more damage because they're lacking on the just single target damage onto the Baron. Like, Ezreal can deal quite a bit of it, and Wukong is not completely bad, but the Lux and the Swain are not the best takers, so it may take a little bit longer than they would want to, and it may give the opportunity for AKM to just get towards that spot or teleport and completely ruin the Baron take, especially without teleport themselves. Oh.
At this point, though, like, you have to think that Smeb
Now
is
they go
not
for
going to
it.
win the 1v1 against Alla there, so they're going to be able to potentially pick up a tower in the bottom lane, and that is the play. Baron was started, but they're looking to disengage. Turtle and A going to get rooted, but they're able to back off for the time being. Fluke maybe looking to be able to go for the slows. Can't land the Q without the mantra. Meanwhile, bottom side, Rift Herald gets the and one, looking to be able to go for the and two here. He gets two headbutts with Shelly. That is a great and one play. Meanwhile, Best Turtle and A is going to fall inside the river. It's All Praise Allah looking to be able to potentially end the game with one Nexus tower down. The rest of G7 are looking to stop the backs. Fluke is going to go down. Keyboarder does not get the back off. Ratchet and Keyboarder are trying to be able to get away. The dredge line does come through. Hexmist is very, very much involved, but he is not going to be there to keep Ratchet alive. Allah is going to be in the 2v1 against Hexmist and Smeb. Subjugate is not up for Allah, though. He doesn't have flash. He doesn't have a way to escape, but Steel City Warrior is there. The cavalry has arrived, and this Trundle is just trolling the game right now for G7. Steel City Warrior is going to get shut down thanks to Keyboarder picking up that. But man, AKM just lose so much out of that play.
Wait, they're now collapsing. Okay, Waffles?
No way. No way. Waffle's going in for the 1v1. Turtle and A is going to get the knockup on Hexmist without Ragnarok. Optic Waffles got a killing spree. Smeb will fall as well. And this game just continues to be an onslaught of G7. A shutdown on Optic Waffles thanks to Ratchet. But all praise Allah. He wants to end the game. He says no game for a triple kill for Best Turtle and A. And Akuma Blades will take the best of 3, 2, 1. Oh my god! Woo!
I just
What just happened? What was that?
Allah decided that he didn't want to play the game. He wanted to play just PvE, push the lane, and win the game. This was pretty reminiscent to that an interactive Tryndamere build or playstyle where you just walk through top lane, don't hit anyone, don't try to kill anyone, you just win the game. And it just feels so random to see. Now, it does win the game for G7 Rush, but like, it's not something that I would have expected to see today. For this series to end like this, honestly.
Well, I mean, despite the early quadra kills, Steel City Warriors did not have the most damage in the game. Ended up going over to Waffles, or maybe it was actually Praise Allah. No, Optic Waffles gets the most damage in the game at 18k. 7, 3, and 6. 3 item Ezra with some pretty impeccable CS, a 4.3 KDA as well. Oh man. Oh my god. Can we get Camcom on here? I need someone to explain to me the last 5 minutes of this game because I have no clue. I'm shooketh.
I just
Uh,
don't know either.
I
Yeah.
think I'm here. Okay. I am mind blown. The whole breaker, I was told it was nerfed, men. Like I was told that this item was not going to solo win games anymore. And then Allah, he just comes. He's like, you know what? I read the patch notes. Maybe he didn't read the patch notes. I didn't read the patch notes. I'm gonna build this item. I'm gonna take your top inhibitor. I'm gonna take your bot inhibitor. I'm gonna go take. You said it right, Moose. You said it was his Rift Herald. It wasn't his team's Rift Herald. It was his Rift Herald.
Yeah.
Drop a bot lane, win the game. That's the game plan. You end the game in 23 minutes. They could have done it sooner on the first push with the Baron, but that was intense. That was intense. Is my word.
Mm-hmm. And that's and that's something that I think a lot of teams need to recognize is that at some point, like if you don't have the control, if you don't have the composure to be able to stay coordinated in those crucial moments, because that game just collapsed in 2.5 minutes for Akuma. Like, yes, they were in a gold deficit, but they didn't have any of their structures down. They were trying to be able to go in for plays. It took 2.5 minutes for G7 to just wallop through the base in a really chaotic fashion, and that comes to, I think, miscommunication on Akuma Blade's part.
Yep, it has a lot to do with that because we see how they just kept the constant push. Like Allah was never proof for anything. He decided to play that game completely on the back end. So it's just a situation where you need to be really coordinated in what you want to do. Because if you don't go for one side, then the other side will get completely destroyed. And you need to be always ready to answer those kind of plays. That's why I always feel like, yes, giving away the Baron seems bad, but honestly, stopping the Trundle would have been a better choice, in my opinion. Because it was just creating so much chaos from you, and it's so hard to play the game when the silent is completely unplayable for you.
I really just think that G7, they played to every single win con, literally in every position, basically to perfection. The poke bot lane was exactly that. They were poking people to death, which is supposed to be really hard to do into a Kai'Sa Nautilus, but no, they just kept landing Kai'Sa or Lux Q, Lux ult, Ezreal ult, someone dies every single time, which is exactly how you're supposed to play the poke bot lane. Obviously, it could have been a steal pentakill. I 100% agree with you, TDS. If the game went longer than 23 minutes, how dare they end so quick they can't get a pentakill, but we'll take a quadra kill. That's pretty close. Yeah, if they didn't end the game, so quickly, could have 100% been a pentakill for him. Best turtle in A, absolutely. He was there for every single play that he needed to be. He was there for every dragon, every Rift Herald. I was kind of wondering, I was counting the minutes in my head. I think the first dragon was at 12 minutes in the game. I was like, all right, this is not going nearly as fast in dragons as the other two, but, the game itself was way faster than the other two.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Exactly. And most importantly, I believe that we got to see all 3 rifts that did not have any representation in week 1 today. We got 1 cloud, 1 ocean, and 1 hextech. So every single rift is on the board here in week 2. So we're perfectly balanced in every way here on the VTS.
This is from week 1. Now we got each one of the ones you were missing.
Yep. Plus 1 cloud, plus 1 ocean, plus 1 hextech. Though, can you really count the hextech? Because it was like, I guess you can, because the question now is, it appeared, but Allah's play was enhanced because he had the hex gates to be able to move freely so far up towards the bottom lane.
Yeah, he reached so many times so quickly the bot lane or the top lane thanks to those gates. So, it was thanks to those gates that the game ended so quickly. So yeah, that Rift was there, it appeared, and it helped them get the victory. I love that Rift so much. Sad we didn't get to see the full power of it, but it was so fun watching it.
Okay, well, I think that's gonna be it for the stream here tonight. Thank you everyone so much for watching week 2 here on the VTS. Tomorrow night, we have a super special Saturday evening stream for you here on the Victorious channel. It's the draft night. The 2 draft leagues, VRD and VAD, that is platinum and diamond as one league, and then the gold and silvers as the second league, will be picking their team's captains tomorrow night, 8 p.m. EST here on the Victorious GG channel. I will be there once again. I am a captain in the platinum diamond draft, and then I will be hosting the gold and silver draft here as well. So I was here tonight. I'll be here again tomorrow night. So I look forward to seeing everyone back here once again. But thank you so much, Moose and TDS, joining us here tonight.
I thank you so much for being there. You are such a fantastic producer and host every single time.
Thank you.
We cannot say it without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So happy to have you here. But also best of luck. Best of luck on your coaching as well.
I hope you get a win.
Just a win though. Only TDS says just a win.
TDS only wants me to get one win in the whole series, man.
One.
My
The
team is
rest are
going
out
1-17
Yeah,
according
so
to TDS.
I support you on the first win. The rest, you have to earn my respect. My favor. Yeah. That.
Alright, I will earn TDS's respect in the draft league tomorrow. Make sure you don't miss that stream. It will be a very exciting one. And then, as always, we have our regular Monday through Friday streams. You have the Valorant on Wednesday and Thursday, and then League of Legends Monday through Friday. We will catch you all back here. If not tomorrow, then obviously Monday for the first VAD. I've been Camcom, Moose, and TDS have been casting for you tonight. Have a fantastic rest of your evening. Beautiful. I was like, I don't know if I close it out here. You all went silent. I was like, all right, that's it.